All right. We are live. It's Saturday night. Get it off your chest. I want to welcome everybody. I want to welcome my fine panel. I'm Tony Bruno. You can find me, of course, on this channel. Like, subscribe, share everything on this channel. Okay. You can find me on Spotify. You can find me on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Lifestyle Philosophies with Tony Bruno on Twitter and on Instagram. P21 Somebody's got to loop. Yeah, we got somebody looping. So I'm not sure who it is, but I'm going to go ahead and testing. Okay, we're good. That was Martin, so fix that problem. Anyways, welcome everybody. I'm going to put a live link StreamYard. Somebody's still looping. We got Drew. Drew is in the chat. Anthony Velasquez is in there. Anyways, let's get it going. Again, this is Saturday night. Get it off your chest. This is the show where you can come on the live panel. You can come on with us. I can have up to 10 people on here and get it off your chest. We're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about tonight. I'm going to go to Gonzo. Gonzo, how can everybody find you?
Yeah, well, actually, now you can find me on Gab. I recently just got on Gab. I don't know how it works. It's it's Gab, but you can find me at Midnight Author. So I don't know. I'll be sharing some stuff on there. We'll see how that goes. I hate using Twitter. Twitter just sucks. So we'll see how this goes. You can also find me on Instagram at midnight.author. And those are the best places to, and Gonzo School on YouTube, of course, as usual.
All right, let's go to Man.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. Am I echoing?
Yeah, we got somebody with a bad echo.
Okay.
Turn your volume down or something.
Let's see what happens. Okay, that's much better. Yeah, welcome in, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. You're in for a treat, as always. You can find me at Mantidote, like you see on the screen, Mantidote like antidote, on Instagram. That's my Instagram name. And you can find me on the infamous YouTube at Primal Man, just Primal Man. We have a Monday night man hour we do on Monday night. So you'll check that out. You'll enjoy it. All right, Martin, go ahead.
Martin, you're muted. I'm going to unmute you. There you go. No, let me do it for you, Martin. Let me do it. No, you might have to unmute yourself. There you go.
How's that?
Perfect.
Is that good?
It's
Well,
good.
Tony, thank you for having me on this evening. Chris and Gene, it's nice. It's a pleasure seeing you guys always here. Martin Otino, I'm residing in Milton, Ontario, just outside of Toronto. I'm a fireman. I'm a father, a real estate investor. Just glad to be here. And I can be reached at Martin_Otino on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, welcome you guys. I'm glad you guys are here. I got the best panel always. And also I want to recognize that you guys noticed that Gene has a different look right now, Mantidote.
Yeah.
He got rid of those dreads. So
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, how do you feel?
I love it. Yeah, it's great. No regrets. I actually had a dream. I used to have dreams about cutting my hair, and I'd wake up in the middle of the night like, oh no, it's still there, And then about 3 days before I cut it, I had a dream that I actually shaved it, and I was pleased. I was happy about it. And I woke up and I told my girlfriend, I said, hey, I dreamed that I cut my hair. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it. In my dream, I was happy about it. Sure enough, I snipped one dread off at a time and just buzzed the rest off, and very pleased with it.
Does it feel like really different? You're used to those long dreads? I mean,
the biggest difference that I feel is when I lay on the pillow, because my hair was like a cushion. It sort of like caressed my neck and my head, so I don't have any type of like caressing going on. It's just a cold pillow,
Well, when it gets cold, you're going to have to start wearing a hat like I am now. So
yeah.
But
yeah.
You know what? I'm going to start out to get it off your chest Saturday night. something I want to get off my chest, and I think this is going to be a great starting topic for tonight. We're going to call it the rise of the feminine and the fall of the masculine. So, Gene, I'm going to shoot it right to you.
Oh man, that's a huge thing. I think men are being morphed into looking for approval in their girlfriends and their future wives and women they deal with, just like they sought for approval from their mothers. So that tends to make them more vain. Like they think that they can. The problem is they think they can get women or relate and be able to relate with women by acting more effeminate, because that's what their mothers had taught them. They didn't see a father that would come in and he would maintain his, fatherly presence, his masculine presence. They didn't have that. They didn't see that. So all they saw was how to please mama, And so they become vain. They look into vanity, flashy things, jewelry, long hair, even like that I had. I'll be the first to admit it that one of the big reasons why I cut it was because I felt that it became a vain attachment. Emotions, vulnerability, crying. A lot of young men think that by crying they can get a woman to sympathize with them or show vulnerability. And the point being is they feel like if they become more like women, they can get women and relate with them. And it's just not the case. They lose all the woman loses all respect. They tend to drive them away. And men are just morphing into approval seekers for women. And I think that's been pushed as progressive masculinity, and that's what young men should be, is approval seekers for their women, their wives, etc. And that's just totally not the case.
Anybody else jump in on it?
I think he killed it, like hit the nail on the head. And we see it out there. You really see the break of the family without having a father presiding at the dinner table and just being available. And then these young men don't have a strong father to look up to mimic, to be mentored under. And then I do know, like my son in his school, like there's no men, and all these,
Right.
there's no men, there's no male teachers, is what I would say, like in the grade schools. And at least up here in Canada, we use the word diversity often, where they want diversity of genetics, but they're not talking about where are the men that could help just being present. So it's very well said, and it is unfortunate. It does work down the line, and I hold the opinion that a masculine man is a dangerous man. An effeminate man stands for nothing, and you can walk him like a puppy on a leash, and those guys pose no danger. So in society as we see it, I may be a little bit cynical, but I don't think the government works for the people. And the more the people can be controlled and manipulated, the more the government can secure their interests. It's by design.
Well, let me just pause you 1 second. I believe Dutch, you are Mark, correct?
Yeah, real name Mark Shemwell. People call me Dutch.
Okay, awesome, man. I know we've had some emails. Welcome to the panel, brother. Welcome.
Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Welcome in.
This is what we do here. So, but yeah, welcome for sure.
Thank you.
You've heard our topic so far. It's the rise of the feminine and the fall of the masculine. This is, like I said, this is get it off your chest. But you know what? Let's do a quick introduction, then we'll get back into it. So Mark, I know from our emails you wrote an ebook, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So tell everybody about yourself and how they can find it real quick.
All right. Real name Mark Shemwell. I work as a U.S. government contractor. Spent several, probably not several, over a decade or more overseas, working on different places. Germany, Kuwait. I just got back from Afghanistan, and I wrote a book called Razor Blade Romance. It was based on the things I researched and studied with Red Pill and just my experiences with overseas with women.
Okay.
stuff like that. So
that's awesome because realistically, what we're talking about now is going to, I think it's going to wind into and a lot of people don't know what red pill philosophy is, and I think I mentioned that in our email that I think the phrase red pill has been bastardized a bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, you see it in all social media, Elon Musk, take the red pill. Yeah, I mean, but to me, the original red pill is sexual dynamics. That's to me is the original red pill when I was introduced to it. Of course, the red pill is from the movie The Matrix, if anybody doesn't know, So it's like, take the red pill, take the blue pill, you can go back to the way you were, take the red pill, and you can see the world for what it is. And I think that was introduced to, I mean, realistically, to me, again, the red pill is more toward sexual dynamics and relationships. Would you agree with me on that, Mark?
Yeah, 100%. Human evolutionary psychology, understanding the nature of women, 100%.
So let me bring in Anthony Velasquez real quick. There he is.
Embrace that inner vegan.
There he is from Occupied. What do we got here today? What does that say? Embrace the
inner vegan.
You guys changed me. Changed me.
Yeah, I thought I was going to see Anthony from Occupied California. So
no. Everything's good here now. Yeah.
Good.
Occupied by vegans.
Yeah.
Big brother's on our side.
Yeah, he sure is, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna since Mark is. We'll call you Dutch. That's your label tonight. So Dutch. Everybody has a nickname here. We call Gene Man. We call Gonzo. You can just call me Bruno. We call Anthony whatever you want to call him.
Okay.
Martin, we just call him Martin. But so what we're going to do is I'm going to shoot the question to you, which is this is the main subject for tonight. What I'm getting off my chest is the rise of the feminine and feminism and the fall of the masculine or masculinity. So if you want to take it, go for it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's very real. I don't like buying into things so fast, but I've saw it. I mean, when I was working on Bagram Air Base, Bagram Airfield with the U.S. Army, you can see it. And just as one of them pointed out, the lack of having a male role model, father. Just to make an example, there was somebody in the office, and this young guy is just so much feminine energy being exuded. He take things extra personal. He looked for validation. And then when I got to know him, which was really hard because it kind of disgusted me, this type of vibe he was giving off. I was like, he told me, he said, I was raised by my mother. I never had a father. And, his mother died early. So I could see it. And the want, the craving, the validation, the taking things, getting emotional over just petty, small things. It was just, if that makes any sense, so I see it. I've experienced it firsthand. And, I was raised by an infantry officer, so I can see it. It's a big difference. It is, it's very real.
Let me ask you a question because I found this out. People think that because somebody is in the service, and again, I'm gonna throw this right out there that, and some people feel awkward when you say this, but I'm going to thank you for your service because that's very, very important to us. You are the guys that fight for our freedom, and I don't care if you're a beta male or an alpha male and you're out there fighting for our freedom. You are an alpha male in my view. So, but the question I want to ask you is that I think a misconception is that just because somebody can pull a trigger, and I talked to somebody about this last night, and that was kind of a what was told to me is just because they can pull a trigger doesn't make them masculine or an alpha. So what do you got to say about that?
Yeah, I think everyone here in the panel knows I'm going to say, yeah, it's true. I mean, some of the most hardcore war veterans I've met. Just to touch on that, I met this guy, and I'll say his name. He passed away. Isn't it Cody Frost, Marine veteran? It was an Iraq war, and he literally, I'm not calling him a beta, but when I was in Kuwait, this gentleman had committed suicide, and I realized later that it was over a woman, and I realized, even if you can be masculine in one area, but somewhere else you're soft, you're easily, you know what I mean? It's a big difference. It's a big difference. They're talking about this gentleman probably. He's a war veteran, and then because Beyonce dumped him, he jumped off the balcony and killed himself. It's like, what? Can survive war, probably, shot and killed, people, but in that circumstance, he wasn't prepared, and he committed suicide. You see, and then going back to more of the beta type of person. Yeah, I meet them all the time in the U.S.
That really like hits me in the heart when you tell me that, because how do I put this? I don't want to say being controlled by a woman, but it's like that validation, and my heart goes out to guys that are in a situation like that, and I think that probably everybody on this panel has been there one time, once or twice. And I think it's the guy that said they haven't been there. And I think there are a few, but I think everybody has had their heart broken, but people deal with it different. So when you enter this manosphere community, and, this isn't a manosphere channel per se. We love our women that come and join us that are entering this space, which is awesome. It's because they're getting something out of this. But when you hear that a man took his life because of a woman, not saying that the woman is bad, but it has to do with, we talk about frame, we talk about all these different things. So why would a guy do that, Dutch?
Because it's the same reason why I was in we all were in a dark place. It's you're projecting your fantasy onto the woman of what you want them to be, and then when it doesn't work out quite the way you want, your whole universe is also like devastated, is destroyed, because you made this person the pinnacle of your universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's the red pill, how they say, hey, the woman is icing on the cake, she's not the cake. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. In what you were talking about, people can pull a trigger, can go to war, be very masculine in that sense, but then in another sense, they're very beta, and they make this woman their universe, their everything. And you can't do that. You can never do that. It can end tomorrow, and you got to be okay with that.
Yeah, my brother, on his channel, he says this quite a bit, and he says, a lot of guys will say, I don't know what I would do without you, and what he'll say is, and I agree with him. Well, when that woman leaves, you'll see it on social media all the time. She's my rock. She's this. She's that. So when she does leave, what does the guy do? I mean, he put it out there that he's not going to know what to do when she leaves. So what puts I'll ask Gene this. What puts a man in that mindset, or anybody else that wants to jump in?
Yeah, that's that approval-seeking behavior. That's what that is. When like he said, that you got to remember that she's not the cake, she's the icing on the cake. The man, you're the cake. So that's that approval seeking, where he's made his girlfriend or his wife his mother, in a sense, his whole world.
I would just say that it comes from a lack of faith in God.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were talking about this kind of before off mic, but it's like Martin was saying something about this earlier, is that when you don't have that foundation, when you don't have that faith, when you don't have that belief in that something that is over you, it's almost like that phrase, if you believe in nothing, you believe in everything. or you know, so basically these women become God,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they kill themselves over it. That's why it's they have this God-shaped hole, and they think that, you know, they're gonna fill it with this woman, and that's why the priorities are all out of whack. You know, that's why they're even thinking of it that way in the first place. That's what I would say.
Yep. I'd like to add to that. When you look at all the media, at least I'm 43 years old, everything that was put onto me, Hollywood, it's all this narrative where the woman's this great prize to be, and the pursuit's nice, the pursuit's beautiful if she's virtuous. So this pedestalization of the lady, of the woman, making her like this celebrity status, ultimately the guy gets treated like a fan. And when he gets dejected, it's a really sad place to witness. And at least up here in Canada, 4 to 5 suicides are men.
Wow.
So there's something really, there's a lot of room for growth. Also this whole empowerment movement and you go girl and all that kind of energy that's really been put onto the girls, like from a little age in the grade school. The young men, they're not growing into their adventure, into their almost like their little gangs where they go and they have they're giving girls attention way too much at a young age. Instead of just having adventure, it's like they get the whole priorities out of whack and they're not even individualized and knowing themselves. So then they put all their source of identity in one woman. That woman's gone and now they're nothing, and then they take their life. It's sad.
Yeah, you know, it really is sad. I mean, it you know, a lot of, I mean, really realistically, and I'm gonna ask Dutch this question, man, because I always look at the entrance to the manosphere is usually through trauma. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because guys are searching for something. They're searching for that tribe. And you know, tribalism, I believe we talked about, in fact, JC was talking about tribalism on last Saturday night. And JC, if you're out there, man, we'd love to have you on the panel. My God. So, you know, I want to go to Anthony, and I'm going to say something to Anthony too. I'm going to unmute you, Anthony, because I had a little background noise. But Anthony, you were in the Army, and I'm going to thank you for your service because I don't know if I've ever done that.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.
So go ahead and shoot, man. Talk about what we're talking about. Jump on it.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about this today. I was thinking about why the Catholic Church, I'm Catholic, why they haven't started pushing back on some of this lockdown restriction and stuff. And then I thought about the parishioners there, and it's mostly older women, you know, and really they have to, you know, for lack of a better word, that's their customer. So you can't really push the issue with older women. Now, if the church was full of strong men, then we wouldn't have this shit. We'd be pushing back like crazy, but we just don't have that right now. You know, that's what I was thinking of. You know,
you know, there's a statement by Jesse Lee Peterson, and he said, when I had asked him in my interview, is there such a thing as a strong woman? He said, no strong women, only weak men. And that is not a knock on women. I broke that down in my head. And the reason he says that is because basically he's letting the woman wouldn't really need to be that strong, independent woman if she had that strong man where she could rely on. So it's not a knock on women. It's really a knock on men. Yeah. Like, you know, there's also a thing like the whole man up thing. I think when a woman tells you to man up, that's her version of what a man is.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So that phrase too, when somebody says, "Oh, man up," you know, you got to look at the source to where that comes from. So, but let me. I'm going to bring John in, and I'm not sure who he is. John, I want you to identify yourself pretty quick. John, are you there? I see your avatar. Why don't you put your camera on, and I'll bring you in.
I think that's John Boston, isn't it? No.
No. But well, when you take your camera off, John, take your avatar off, John. I'll bring you in. So, but yeah. So let's go back to the rise of the feminine or feminism and the fall of the masculine and masculinity. Anybody else want to go? How about Gonzo or anybody?
Martin has something.
Well, I got something to say. I think in the market right now of, I guess, relationships, what I'm seeing is a lot of women, they're desiring, and there's talk amongst them of the quote unquote traditional alpha male. That seems to be the grand prize, but they don't want to be the complement of the traditional woman. Like, they want to have the best of both worlds, and things are deregulated, and it's almost like we need a reset somehow of just order. It seems to be like just chaos.
John, I brought you into the stream. You want to identify yourself? I'm not sure if that looks like Justin Bieber to me. Well, not now. Well, I gave him a shot, so it's get it off your chest, and I'll add you to the stream. So, but unless somebody's backstage, you got to identify yourself quick, or you're going to get flushed quick. So,
You know, I want to bring something up, and I always go back to dads. I always go back to the proper home of a married mom and dad. I feel like when dad does something, the kids think it's cool. The kids respect it. But if mom does something, she's just telling us, you know, go to church, you know, don't do this, do that, don't do this. But if dad actually lives it, the kids will adapt that more by his example, more than just mama telling them. So that's why lately on my channel, I've been talking more about men leading their families to church, because I mean, I'll speak personally. I feel like my mom led the family to church more than my dad did, which is a big reason why I became resentful towards my faith, towards why I just had this perverted sense of my faith. But now I've turned back to it. But I think it's more important that the men begin to lead their families and be more involved in what they do, because the kids are looking more at the dads. They think what dad does is cool. So if dad's doing it, the kids, if mom's doing it, mom's just a bunch of hot air a lot of times. But when dad's doing it, oh, this must be for real, and it's cool, and the kids will move in that direction a lot more. So we have kids being taught by moms and grandmas about God, and it's cool and all because the men ain't doing it, so somebody's got to do it, but it's not the right way it should be done, which is why I think we have so many kids like turning against God and becoming atheist and nihilistic and all this kind of stuff, because I was there myself. I'm speaking from experience.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the right way?
As far as what, raising a kid, or me personally, I can only speak on what I would do. I know that I would be the one that would encourage my family to go to church. I would be the one that would encourage my family to many different things, to be more mindful, to be more respectful, to be more kind, to be loving, to be all of these things, these godly traits. And that's what I would do. I would be more involved mainly with my kids. Instead of mom having to deal with the kids all the time, I would be more involved with the kids than my dad was with me. Even though I had a dad, he was a good dad, but he wasn't a perfect dad. I don't think anyone is, but involvement is key as a dad. Because I feel like most dads sort of like, that's what mom handles all that stuff, you know. That's not the case. Dad should be handling it.
I got somebody that jumped in here. Its name is Joe Forbes. So, Joe, I'm going to bring you on. Identify yourself. If you have a camera, I'd love to see your face. If you have an avatar, and I hope you have something to add. So, identify yourself. We'll bring you on. Joe?
Hi, how's it going, fellas?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Where are you from, Joe? You got anything to add?
I'm from Manchester, England.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
I'm sorry my camera doesn't work. My laptop's kind of like messing up right now.
Okay. Have you listened to our topic, which is the fall of the masculine or the masculinity and the rise of the feminine or femininity, feminism? So any
Yeah, my point on the topic is I don't really side with the feminists. I think they've taken it too far. It's less about being equal now, and it's more about them being superior to us now and
Absolutely.
wanting to control. If you get what I'm saying.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
totally get what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. So how did you find my channel? Curious.
I was just scrolling through YouTube, and you just came on my recommended, so I
Okay.
thought I'd give it a try.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. YouTube is throwing us out there. So, but this is Get It Off Your Chest Saturday night. Before we continue on the topic, anything you want to get off your chest, Joe?
No, I'm all right. I'm just willing to continue and give points on other people's topics.
Okay. Good.
Good, man. I think you're in good company.
Well,
Glad to have you.
Thanks.
yeah.
Thanks.
Glad you're here. So, Gonzo, I'm going to go to you because you always have some good points on this for sure. So, let's. What do you think? I mean, I know my ideas, and from my research, what really, you're funny, Anthony. Now I heard an accent there. So, but what do you think is the cause of the rise of feminism? Now, I want you guys to. I think we talked about this. I don't know if it was Thursday night with Pat Stedman. Maybe it was, or I talked with somebody else about it. But now, back in the World War I and World War II, a lot of these alpha males and these strong men died in war, and so we had the guys that stayed back. Okay, so this is one theory or one philosophy on why there's weak males. So, Gonzo, you want to shoot off that?
Yeah. Why? Yeah. I mean, I guess, at the base of it, you could say, like, just to make it as simple as possible, it's weak men.
Mhm.
And, yeah. And I think that's largely what it is. But also, too, I mean, just to branch off of that a little bit, to take it a little bit of a different direction, I also think about how, all these different things that we've talked about and we've had, recently, like with the vegan debate, what I've found is that all these things are interconnected. It's not just feminism. It's not just, Marxism. It's, this Marxism, veganism, feminism, all this stuff is kind of all coming from the same place.
Isms.
Yeah, isms. Yeah. And I mean, but it's like, it's this idea of equality. And, equality is kind of a absurd thing when you think about it. It makes zero sense. I remember, I'm not sure if you guys read this in school or, this was like a short story that was in the textbook that I had in like high school, and the teachers never covered it, but I ended up reading it and I was just blown away by it. It's a story called Harrison Bergeron by Kurt Vonnegut. And the story is about basically I don't know if it's America or the world, but America or the world, they finally create true equality. And so if you're beautiful, you get an ugly mask. And if you're intelligent, they put a buzzer in your ear so you're kind of intellectually tampered with. And if if you're not disabled, they put you in a wheelchair. It's insane. But they create perfect equality, and it's a nightmare. It's just a nightmare. And the one guy who stands up to it, he gets shot and he dies. But so, there's a humor to it, but there's it's true, and it's kind of just becoming more and more important as the years go on. So it's this demon of equality, this like utopia that people see. And I think, for women, it's this very real thing. There's this lie, there's this thought, there's this setup that the grass is greener and I'm oppressed and everybody, and you know, the men are having it good, and I just have this lowly life as a woman, being a housewife, taking care of the kids, you know, staying at home or whatever, because that's how this all started, right? With feminism. That's where it all begins. You know, you read something like The Stepford Wives. We talked about that on, I think, Man's show recently, and
I want to
that's
touch on that.
Yeah, like the you know, they in that novel, they're you know, these new feminists are evangelizing. They're like, you can do something better than raise your kids. You can you can have your career, and
someone,
you know,
yeah,
I mean,
I wanted.
you know, it's when you say like equality, I believe in equality under the law with women.
yeah.
I don't have an issue with voting. I truly don't. That's, you know, I'm not going to say that women shouldn't vote. I think equality under the law, but the reality is that men and women are not equal. I mean, you're looking at like news, a lot of news that's coming up. This might be in Gonzo News in a little bit, but about the MMA fighter that's transgender or whatever. And he like gave this girl a brain injury. This other track star that's just blowing these chicks out of the water. It's like, well, now they're complaining. How's that working out for you? You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I was talking to someone, a girl, and she said the problem with men and equality is that men talk down to us. They talk to us like we're less than them, like we're not as smart. Or it's like, and I responded. I said, you know why? The reason why is because no matter how strong and independent you think you are, we still see you as a weaker vessel. So no matter how much you build up in your head that you're strong and independent, we still see you as a woman. Perfect example, go to a club, go to a bar. A woman can be causing havoc in the club or whatever and picking fights with whoever. And a guy, maybe her boyfriend or something, gets into it and he gets aggressive with her. You'll have 20 guys, no matter how masculine she's acting, you'll have 20 guys come up to her rescue, say, back off, you know, we'll beat this guy up, you know, to protect the woman. So no matter how masculine she thinks she is, no matter how boisterous and strong and independent she thinks she is, men don't see women like that. We see them as we still see them as women at the end of the day. So this thing that they're after is they're hurting themselves. They're shooting themselves in the foot. Whereas if they would be more feminine and would just be women, we would they would be rewarded in so many more ways. It would work out more for them. We still see them as women, at the weaker vessels, as women at the end of the day, no matter how strong and independent they are.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, in the fact that you even say a weaker vessel, that triggers so many people. But
yeah,
anybody that has been in this stream or knows that stream, that on this stream, we love women.
Yeah.
We love that feminine woman. Like when Earl's daughter, remember the night she talked about, she'll be right back, she's baking. And everybody smiled because it's like, she's baking. How, I mean, that's such a cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Like if we're on our streams right now and your woman is in there, like making something nice for the family, what is wrong with that? Why is that so horrible? Why is it so horrible to be a housewife? Is it the word housewife? You know, what's wrong with that feminine women? I mean, what's wrong with it?
There's nothing lesser about that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just a lie. It's a meme. You know, that's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on that point you said. Sorry for interrupting, but
no, go for it. That's why you're here.
The one thing that I don't understand is what was wrong with women staying home and looking after the children, had a nice life. They had to do nothing all day. All they had to do was clean, cook, and they had a nice day.
Mm-hmm.
What was wrong with that?
The government did not like that.
Yeah, I see that, but most women, like, I get the voting. They can vote, they can do whatever, but most women don't really like being housewives. But I don't see the problem with it. It's crazy.
There is no problem with it at all. I think it's that higher powers want to remove the man so they can be the man.
Yeah, I get your point.
Now, you know, it's funny because I know somebody, just really I'll just say I can't say who it is, but I've heard her complain about, oh my God, there's so much to do around the house and this and that. And it's like, it's almost like she's scatterbrained and like it's always there's always like drama or a conflict. And I'm looking saying, okay, I could have cleaned this house in an hour, okay, prep dinner and have my feet up by 11 o'clock to watch The Price is Right, okay?
Mhm.
So it ain't that bad, you know? It's not that bad.
Mm.
So, but I think it also depends. To me, it's the leadership in the family.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I think that if a woman is at home, I don't think of her as lesser. I think it's a very honorable position to take in a family life and in a relationship.
I'm gonna throw you out for a loop really quick. I think a good, strong, godly man can make a raging feminist become a housewife.
Yeah.
Think about that. I think the right man can, like, there's a meme that says Chuck Norris shows up to a feminist rally to get his shirt ironed. So that's the point of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Let me I've got Cameron Jeffries. Cameron Jeffries, are you ready to come on? I want you to go ahead and identify yourself. If you have a camera, please put it on. Joe Forbes, you've been awesome so far, and we've had avatars on here. Well, there goes Cameron. But I would bring you on, Cameron, as long as you identify yourself. But Joe, you've been awesome so far, and I appreciate your words so far. And you said Manchester, England. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
awesome.
Hey, John, you don't have to answer this question, but how old are you?
Yeah.
Did you say me?
Yeah. Joe.
I'm 19.
Okay.
Nice. I figured you were good, man. That's cool.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, you're in the right spot, buddy, for sure. So, Anthony's putting something up there. I'm not sure what he's putting, but
Looks like
I can't even read that.
Bring on John Boston.
Yeah, no, John Boston, of course. You are welcome to come on, John. Same thing with Drew. If you're watching, anybody, click that link. I'm going to throw the link in there again, just so anybody wants to jump on. You guys are always welcome. Don't think that you're not welcome on here. So, and you never know who might jump in here later. That's for sure. I've invited a few people, some content creators that you guys might know. I don't know, Dutch, if you known, but you know Steve Williams. Steve Williams.
Steve the Dean. Yes, I know him well.
On here for a few hours. Coach EO, Everett Overton. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
EO, yeah.
Coach EO has been on here. Jack Donovan's been on here. I'm probably forgetting somebody, I'm sure. But we've had all sorts of surprise guests that jump on.
Wow.
So,
Ivan Throne.
And who?
Ivan Throne.
Michael
Foster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've had a lot of good guys come on in the so-called manosphere. I still love that word, guys. So though there's a better word, and much respect to our president of the manosphere, my good buddy Anthony Johnson. So
President Johnson.
I give him a lot of credit. Are you familiar with Anthony Johnson?
Don't laugh, but is he from the 21 Studios?
Yeah, that's Anthony.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Anthony is savage. Anthony's a savage. He is the main. He is we'll call him the leader of the war on feminism. So
yeah.
Yeah. So I want to go back to you, Dutch. So what can we do to increase the masculine energy?
You mean help kind of reverse what's going on right now? Some people may not agree, but I kind of feel like it's already happening. It's if you look at it, it's already a movement. I was shocked how many people read the Rational Male, and I see how, just that. I'm not saying it's an ideology, but just that being Like I run into just random guys who's like they know about it, they're reading, you know, and so it might not revert way back into the I'm gonna say hyper masculine or the, you know, when a man was a man, but you know, I think that's a start, you know, and you know, it's like you said, the terminology, taking the red pill, you never see things the same again. And even if somebody is an effeminate beta male, you know, God knows we met many, you know, it's a seed that's being planted in the head. Like, wait a minute, this is bullshit. No, I don't want this. I don't want to be, you know, pardon my urban French, I don't want to be the bitch in the relationship. What the fuck is this? You know, so I think it's the seed being planted, and you know, I think that's a start. And you know, you go into Facebook, you see nothing but red pill groups. I can't count how many there are. And you know, and yeah, some of them are red pill rage groups where guys just talk a bunch of you know, their anger, their frustrations. But I think that's a start. I mean, bringing fathers back to children, I don't know. You know, I don't know if that could be changed, because it's the damage has been done. You go on Tinder and see how many single moms are raising kids, man. It's crazy. You know,
that's the truth. You know, I mean, I think single motherhood has become, you know, me growing up, I'm sure I'm the oldest one on this panel. I'm going to say Anthony is probably the next oldest. Me at 58. Anthony, you're what, 50? Anthony? Yeah, 50. Dutch, how old are you?
43.
43. Okay, so you're next in line. Then we go to Mantido, who is 33, correct? And then we go to Gonzo, 22, and then we got Joe Forbes, who's 19. So we got all the ages covered here, you know. So,
but real quick, when you were talking about do you think maybe, you know, when I started seeing that when I was traveling in regards to women, you know, and you saying not like Joe Forbes said, not wanting to stay home and just do woman stuff, you know, I'm not saying, you know, when I'm half German, and when I go to Germany, I just, when I meet European women, I just don't see the same things going on. Like, you know, I see this, I'm not saying it's an American issue, and I'm not saying it's not happening in other parts of the world. You know, it's like the rock song by Rammstein, "We all live in America." It's globalism. It's spreading everywhere. But I see it more in the States. You know, I noticed it. Like it's the feminism. You know, it's more, its stronghold is in the U.S. When I go to Europe, yeah, you got some third wave crap talking feminism, but it's not like the U.S. You know. It's definitely not like our country.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this, I think, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, about how single motherhood has become a badge of honor. And for me growing up, that was not a badge of honor at all. You'll see, I mean, you're familiar with dating sites, right, Dutch? So you'll see my proudest, you know, I'm so proud of raising my daughter and my son. That's my biggest. And that, when I see that, that kind of frightens me, because there was no, I mean, just to look at it from my perspective, that there was no masculine energy for those kids, whether it be a girl or a boy. And I think they need both. They need a mother and a father.
You're right.
I'd like to just touch on that topic, please.
Sure.
Over here in England, it may be different, but when it's a single mother, I feel like the child is more compelled to provide for the mother, because over here you have a lot of like drug dealing in like houses and stuff, just growing crops. It's crazy, but that's all because their like father in their lives wasn't there. And I just feel like it's just that I don't know how to describe it, but it's just that feeling of wanting to provide for your family and keep it going and proving someone wrong, like your father.
Yeah, that's kind of, I think they call that the mother-husband syndrome is what it's called, if I'm correct, Gonzo, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's the official term, but it's I mean, that's definitely a thing. It's like, and I mean, I experienced this growing up with a single mother. I came out of that single mother household, and let me tell you, it's like, what, in in the darkest moment of all of that, I realized, I'm like, wow, this is like my own mother is acting like uh like an angry girlfriend. And it's a disturbing thing to say, but that's what it is. And I mean, Jesse Lee Peterson has talked about this. He'll say, he said on his show recently, I think the mothers are horny for the children.
I was going to say that, and
Yeah.
wow. I had to take a step back, and he talked about that for a while.
Yeah.
For their sons.
Yeah.
In particular.
That's pretty hardcore,
Yeah, it's disgusting, but it's true. It's absolutely true. It can happen. Maybe not for, I'm not saying all of them, but I think it's a common thing. So
that's a very polarizing statement. I mean, that is, and I don't want anybody watching, especially any women that will watching this now or watching this, to think you're sitting here with a bunch of misogynists. No, you're sitting with 6 men that love women and want to see the best for them. I mean, that's the honest truth. I don't hate women. I understand them. Are you familiar, Dutch? You're familiar with alpha male strategies, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now he just did a video on basically beta male providers. He also did a couple things on female nature, and he does a different take than a lot of people, and that's one of the reasons why I like him. I was lucky enough to have a great interview with him. Not many people have had that chance. Dutch, have you seen my video with Alpha Male Strategies?
No, I haven't, but now I want to see.
Oh yeah, I had a great interview with him in August. In fact, I'd mentioned it's on 21 Studios. It's on my channel here too. But that is one of their biggest videos this year. It has 250,000 views so far. So I'm pretty proud of that. Yeah. We had a good hour-long conversation, and I had just met him, but I like his take on just on a lot of things, especially when it comes to women. I think he doesn't always align with everybody, and I love that. I love the fact that he can speak out, and I mean, I think he's from the streets, or the streets, as he says, So, but
I think everybody needs a friend like that. I think everyone probably had one like that. If not now, and back in high school, I understand where he's coming from. I don't agree all the time, but I definitely understand what he's trying to convey.
And like I said, I've done a lot of interviews with I call it lifestyle or dating philosophies, because I'm interested in all these philosophies. I mean, like Coach Greg Adams is considered a MGTOW, but to me, a MGTOW is a guy who originally a MGTOW, and you guys might agree with me, and Anthony and Dutch was a MGTOW is a guy that, screws a doll. I mean, to me, that's like the original MGTOW, like that turd flying monkey or whatever the hell his name is. Or turd flinging monkey, which totally freaks me out. The guy marries her, he combs her hair and, whatever. That's just, to me, that's just sick in the fucking head. But with Coach Greg is really, I like the way he puts his stuff which is free agent lifestyle, which but these different philosophies, I had Pat Stedman on Thursday night, which was, anybody wants to go back and watch the video with Pat Stedman from Thursday night. It's awesome. It's just Pat's an awesome guy. Great philosophy on dating and lifestyle. I know that he is basically I'll call him a nemesis to Rollo Tomasi. That is, I know they jump on Pat Stedman, but Pat Stedman's a good guy. I know that I found out that Alpha Male Strategies after I had Alan Roger Curry. You're familiar with him?
I love his book.
Well,
Say it
you need-
again. I like
you
his
need-
book. Yeah.
You need to check out my interview with him too. So
All right.
just so you know, I've had the pleasure of chatting with all
Wow.
guys and some really deep stuff. So I've got to really dive into some philosophies with dating coaches and lifestyle coaches. You know, John Sonmez, which I love, Bulldog Mindset. You know, but all these different guys have a different take on, I'll say, their red pill philosophy. You know, and these guys don't all agree, but that's why I like to dive into this. And everybody on this panel here is, I'm sure, is familiar with a lot of these guys' names that I've mentioned, but we don't always align 100% with everybody. And I think that's one of the issues with guys is they kind of get caught up in this what did you call it too? The red pill rage, I call it.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
yeah,
I've got to go. My girlfriend wants me to fuck her. I'm so sorry.
Okay, no, that's fantastic. Good for you.
Don't sound so depressed about it.
Nah, I'm gonna go fuck that pussy up. I'm gonna eat that. I'll catch you later, guys.
Hey, thanks for coming on, Joe. You're
Thanks,
welcome
buddy.
next time.
Thanks.
See you.
That was funny. What a great departure there. That's the best.
Shit.
Well, again, it's not Gonzo. It's not even after dark yet. We're only 38 minutes into it. No,
This is encouraging. I knew tonight was going to be weird.
yeah. But all right. Well, that's a good one. I want to see what do we got here. What do we have here? Let's read this statement. I'm a vegan, Anthony, from today. From that message on the paper. Okay. Well. Fat Man War 11, you're welcome to come on. I don't know if we want to debate another vegan, but we could.
Anthony does. He's itching.
So, but all right. Well, it's officially after dark early tonight. So
Nice.
Early dark.
yeah. So let's get back. Let's get back to my question or my statement, which is, you know, the rise of the feminine or feminists and the fall of the masculine or masculinity. Now, I think you all remember the Gillette commercials that came out. I think it was last year. You remember those? Yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody want to break out on that? Go for it.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, what was it? So, like, to recap on that, wasn't it like I don't remember what the voiceover said, but it was basically just like, you men, you know you're rapists. You know you can do better than that. We should do better as men. That's what we're about. Buy Gillette. That's basically what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. They pretty much, their stock failed almost instantly, I think, after that. You know, that was, to me, that was a total shot in the dark for them, and I don't think it worked out. So
Yeah, I don't spend too much money on shaving products.
Neither
there's
do I.
Greg's Garage. Greg, awesome, bro. Good to see you, man. Just so you guys know, if you want to see the best parodies of my brother's channel, Greg does the best parodies of my brother.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
I recently rewatched all those. It was great.
Did you? Yeah, they are great. He does. Nobody does them better. I've seen a few.
Oh, I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them.
Greg's Garage is absolutely the best.
I love the one where he goes into the Van Gogh room and he pulls the lawnmower out.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Greg, I'm glad you're here. And his channel, just so you guys know, there's all sorts of cool stuff. He does everything. I've seen him like fix a hole in a door to make his own biodiesel. He works on cars, but he's got a really, really cool channel. So anybody watching, check out Greg's Garage. In fact, I don't know if he's posted anything in a while, so I don't think I've seen anything. So let me see what do you think of abortion? Okay, well,
That's a good one.
anybody? I'm sure somebody's going to tackle that one. Go for it.
Well, you know, as a man, I just have to say that it's her It's fucking wrong. End of story. It's wrong. Okay, should it be illegal? I mean, I don't know. I actually don't. This is something that I've like thrown around several times, but it's a difficult thing. Like, I don't know if it's our place to necessarily like make things illegal. I don't know if that makes the situation better. I think what's more important is we just need to, women need to wake up, to just how wrong it is. I think that's what counts at the end of the day. Because you're not going to create the morals by creating law. That's just not going to happen. You're not going to fight that with the law alone. You're going to have to,
I want to welcome John Boston, brother. Good to have you back.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good. I'm glad you're on the panel. John Boston, we've got a new panel guy. You know everybody else on here, but we've got Dutch. Dutch, you were in the Army, correct?
Yeah, I was in the Army. I didn't do 30 years like my father, but I got out after 5 years in 2003, and then I just became a defense contractor, working as a civilian for the military. So, for ever since.
Cool. Thanks for your service.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Definitely, for sure. But so the question was from
Fat Man War.
Yeah, Fat Man War 11. Again, Fat Man War 11. And no disrespect, but I always find a pattern here that I believe he said he was a vegan. So we do find these patterns in people. And again, no disrespect, Fat Man War. So we're addressing your question, what is abortion? I'm going to throw this at Man right now, so go for it.
I'll try to keep it short and sweet. Besides the fact that it's murder. All right. Obviously, with that, people make that argument all the time, and there's no denying that it's murder. And I kind of want to smoke on what Gonzo says. I think laws will not change people's morality, values, or anything like that. I agree with that, but that's something I have to smoke on a little more. But besides the fact that it's murder, I heard a young. It's always these college age girls that spew this abortion stuff out, and then and then the biggest thing that I heard recently was, well, the government doesn't tell men what to do with their bodies. My body, my choice. The government doesn't tell men what to do. He tells men what to do with their wallets, though. So if you want to use the argument, my body, my choice, my wallet, my choice. And I know that's tough, but it's my wallet, my choice. And I'll bring Rolo into this, and maybe if y'all are familiar with some of his discussion, his short discussion, as far as I know, on abortion, he says that abortion is like the ultimate, basically what they do is they'll keep the child of a man who she can get the most financial kickbacks from, whereas a guy who obviously maybe doesn't make a lot of money, doesn't have much money, or she can't get much financial kickback from, she'll abort his baby.
Well, it goes back to the saying, which is a, it's I'm not sure if it's one of the 9 iron rules, but she will make rules for beta and break rules for that alpha. Yeah. So that might be in the same context as what you're saying.
Yeah. She'll basically kill the beta seed. Mm-hmm. Whatever guy that she can get the money from, though, that's the child that she's gonna keep. I got a friend of mine. He's got 3 baby mamas, and he's paying all kind of child support right now. And every one of these girls, I feel like, knew what they were doing when they got into it, because I've been knowing this guy for a long time. Really easily manipulated guy. Super, super, super nice. Like, nice guy. And I feel like these women sense that, because he's been with some pretty crazy girls that he didn't have kids with. Then he actually had kids with some girls I feel like really took advantage of him. He's paying out the ass for child support right now. But that's kind of, I think abortion is wrong. So, but the exception that it's murder, then you're talking, my wallet, my choice. And I don't think a lot of people want to talk about that. It's nothing to do with equality at all.
All right, I've got a chat here. This is going to be a wild question right here, and I can answer it. But what's your opinion on transgender women keeping their dicks? I don't even know how to answer that. I mean, I say First of all, they're not women.
Right. They're not women.
Yeah, that's not a
Yeah.
woman. And I say keep your dick because you might want it back. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Now we're going to bring on I think it's pretty crazy. To be honest, one time I met a girl and pulled down her pants and her dick was bigger than mine. Mine's 9 inches and I thought that was crazy. She said her name was Elliot. Gonzo, what time is it? It's awfully early, isn't it?
Oh, it's 9:10 p.m.
I'm still on my first glass of wine.
Okay. Just so anybody knows, at about 11:30, we call it Saturday Night After Dark, and it seems like Saturday Night After Dark started at about 10 minutes ago. But so I think we've already answered that question. I don't know what else to say, but so John Boston, why don't you hit this question up?
What I think of transgenders or abortion?
Yeah, abortion. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's one of those things where I understand both sides of it. I don't appreciate this idea of women having these, like, you know, my body, my choice. You have a baby that's born, and then they say, I don't want it. Let's kill it now. You know, when you hear about what they want to do with you know, with the abortion laws. I think what Gene mentioned with women getting pregnant with men, if it's somebody that they could, you know, if it's the alpha guy, yeah, I think they're gonna want to probably keep that baby. Or if the guy's got some, you know, finances behind him, I think they'd want that baby. But they're making these choices that, is this financially feasible for me to have this versus should I have this child?
Mm-hmm.
So you know, in Massachusetts here, it's interesting that we have feminism is like it's running wild. I don't see many women running around, young women running around with babies like I did growing up. So obviously there has to be abortions going on left and right every day, all the time, 24/7. So it's become a widely accepted thing that, you know, if you get pregnant, that's okay. Just go abort the baby. And I think that has issues down the line for these women where they'll get into relationships later on and they won't be able to pair bond. You know, maybe they'll try to have kids, they'll have a family, but at some point, it's interesting, that comes back to them. Like their life gets altered in another way. Like I know this woman who had several abortions, ended up getting married, had 2 kids, ended up divorcing, and it's like the kids became like little scavenger kids. They were kind of like off on their own. She was doing her own thing, girls' nights out, you know, 38, 40 years old, and it was her time. So, and I don't know if that came from, you know, being divorced or what happened in her life, but I never saw her as a great parent. And I think if you abort that baby, I think there's a part of you that says, yeah, even if I have a kid, you know, I got rid of a child in the past. I've seen that pattern with a few women, only because I've known of their past. And I know people don't talk about that because you won't know somebody's past, but I've seen that. In regards to the laws, I mean, every state has their own translation of what they do, but I don't really think about it. I have children, I have daughters, and I hope that they never get themselves in a position where they have to put themselves in a situation like that. But it's the reality of today. So I do think it's murder, regardless of whatever any time that it is. But where's my vegans? What's this? What is it?
I'm not sure if we're being trolled, but I'm going to show this anyways. That's crazy. My name is Elliot. And And I have a similar experience. I met a girl called Cameron Forbes, and she had the greatest pair of melons. I ended up taking her home, took down her panties, and boom.
What the heck? I don't know, man. Wow. That's pretty deep.
Called, but whatever. That's cool.
Joe Elliott Forbes.
Oh, that's funny. Maybe he just changed his name. I don't know. But if it is a true statement, whatever. Or it's just somebody's just having a good time. So.
No, that's Joe Forbes. That's who that is.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Same photo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right.
But in your previous talk about feminism, it's running wild. It's just running wild. It's you go to the Cambridge courthouse, Cambridge, Mass, and you will see the most vicious divorces. You will see female judges who are, feminist activists, and it's like, men shouldn't have their kids, and if you want your kids, you're gonna have to fight really hard to ever see them again. It's such a crazy world that we're living in today, and it's all of these laws to like empower these women today. I can't imagine these, like a woman, like how could a woman be a housewife today in today's day and age with what you see on TV, what you see locally, what you see your neighbors doing. The society's really changed from when I grew up. I'm 53, and I don't remember it being so crazy as it is today. Maybe it was going on, but with no-fault divorce, it's really changed the society tremendously.
I've been smoking on the topic of if we go back with Adam and Eve and how the serpent, who did he go to? He went to the woman. Who did the serpent go to? He went straight to the woman. And then Adam blamed it when God came to the garden and says, "What have you done?" He blamed, he said, I took of the fruit, but Eve told me to. Eve gave me some, basically. So he blames it directly on the woman. And this sort of kind of where we are today. The difference is today, and I've been smoking a lot on this, is that there's not just one serpent anymore. There's many serpents now. And we got to protect our women and our families. If we do have women, we do have families. Serpents are everywhere. Don't be like Adam. Don't be like enjoying your garden and not see the serpents. Keep a lookout for the serpents.
Dutch, I want your opinion on abortion.
On abortion? You're going to like this story.
Okay.
All right. So when I joined the Army, I'd say around 1998. So I became a logistics specialist, and being half German, I got the Army to agree to send me to Germany. Well, this was a very beta phase of my life. Like it probably because I was young, dumb, and full of cum. The party promiscuous girl meets the nice guy. Worst equation ever, right? I'm the nice guy. I marry this European chick, and probably because just the sex is good. Why not? Fuck it, I'll marry her, right? So a couple years later, in Fort Stewart, Georgia, I get deployed to Djibouti, Africa. This is right before 2002, right before the Iraq War kicked off. We were there to support the special forces on whatever the fuck they were doing at night. Anyway, when I left, my wife at that time, my former wife, was pregnant. I came back to Fort Stewart 6 months later, and my neighbor called me over. He's like, "Hey, I need to talk to you." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Hey, man, it's been a fucking whorehouse in your place while you've been gone, man." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "But she's pregnant. What the fuck are you talking about?" And he said, "Yeah, she kind of had like a miscarriage." And right from I heard that, I realized when I was in Africa, in Djibouti, Africa, deployed there, that I noticed there was a couple $1,000s missing, and I realized she got an abortion. She literally aborted fucking our baby. Yeah, while I was gone. And that was like a mind-blowing situation where I was glad because she was such a promiscuous fucking slut. And now I apologize to women out there, but I think, they understand if they're listening how they would feel with a similar reverse tables if they were the man of that caliber. But I was so upset. But at the same time, I was glad. It was some fucked up feelings. It was like I was good because I was never connected to this woman ever again. You understand?
Mhm.
It was just like this sigh of relief, like, oh, thank you. But at the same time, I was like deeply hurt and upset about it. I was just like, you fucking murderer. You fucking, I don't want to say more derogatory terms, but it's a mixed bag of feelings. But I realized that now, forward as being older, I look back like, wow, because I was so beta, and I basically left her going to Africa with the military, saying, hey, this isn't working out. When I come back, we probably need to get a divorce, right? And because of that, because she didn't see any support, probably coming, like she probably thought there's no benefits to keeping the child with this guy, I'm going to abort it. You understand? So that's what I went through, and that's when I got my fair taste of abortion in women. And I do realize the man I used to be, you could probably say I was a full-fledged beta male back then. I was the nice guy. I believed in soulmates and love, and if you just treat women with dignity and respect, they'll give it back. And that's probably the portion, the little side of me of the red pill rage still comes out. I'm kind of over it, but I'm just saying that I realize there is a social dynamics, and yeah, you're absolutely right. If they don't benefit in that situation, they abort it. They don't care. It's like it's like throwing a crumbling of paper and throwing it in the garbage. Goodbye. Flush the toilet, shit down the.
I gotta ask you this, man. I mean, I can see it affects you. I can't imagine that wouldn't affect any man. So imagine how many guys are out there that went through the same thing you're doing. But we're talking to you personally about that, and the fact that you shared that with us, to me, is mind blowing. That is a really, I want to say, an honorable thing to do, is to put that out there, because you're showing right now your passion. And I mean, I can't imagine how that feels. I can't imagine that. Even though, like you said, she was a promiscuous woman, blah, blah, blah. But again, you have relief on one side, and then you have that, I'm sure, that anger and that thought of, that could have been my son or my daughter. So that's got to there's got to be a major conflict there, I mean, think of the reverse side. If she would have had that kid, okay, I mean, how do you weigh that out? Because I haven't been through that. How do you weigh that? How do you
I think you just blank it out. You just like, okay, some alternative universe, an alternate universe, you had a kid, but in this universe you don't. And it's like, I won't even get into it, but just to let I don't know if you believe in karma, but without getting into it, it kicked her in her ass, where she is now in life. So, I just, you blank it out because, it is what it is. It wasn't beyond your control. You didn't have a say in it. So it's just like, I get it. When abortion, in terms of women who get viciously gang raped, say those things, like there's a gang of Crips or Bloods that just take turns on a woman. Yeah, I get it. I may not agree with it, but I get it. I get abortion. I get it in that sense, if something horrible like that happens. But yeah, just abortion in hey, I'm just going to abort this because I don't feel like taking the responsibility, or I don't, whatever. That's wrong. It's wrong. Of course it is. Of course it's wrong.
Michael Foster is watching. Michael, I put a link in there, so I'd love to have you come on here. So, Michael Foster, I would love your input. I don't know if are you familiar with Michael Foster, Dutch?
No.
You'll love him. He spoke at 21. Good friend of mine, good friend of my brother's. He's been on here a few times. He's a pastor with 7 kids.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Here he is. All right. Excellent.
What's up, fellas?
Good. Oh, glad you're here, brother. Glad you're here.
Hello.
This is the third podcast of the day or third show of the day.
Well, good. I mean, we were just talking about, abortion. I mean, that was our topic. We got Anthony Velasquez throwing up some signs, but man, I'm gonna throw the question to you. What do you think of abortion?
I think it's the murder of a child. I think the logic is you have to ask, when does someone become human? And does someone leaving a vagina make them human? Okay, no. Does someone, if I lose an arm, am I less human? Right? No. So when do you become human? Like the most logical is that you become human at conception, when the sperm enters the ova and creates a new set of DNA, and a new person exists. That'd be my argument. As Scripture says, God weaves us inside the womb, that we our new life inside the womb. In the Old Testament, if someone was to damage a child inside of the womb, he would have the same thing done to him. So the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth passage is quoting from a portion of the Old Testament law, where if that damage was done to the kid, that would happen to the person who caused that damage inside the womb. So yeah, I think abortion's terrible. It's I think our whole country's built on the back of murdered babies. I think it's a holocaust of unbelievable horror.
What would you say to like Dutch, who, again, did you hear his story?
I caught a little bit about his ex-girlfriend having an abortion, right? Is that what happened?
It was ex-wife.
Ex-wife, okay.
Yeah.
How do you deal? What kind of good advice can you give Dutch? I mean, to get past this, to carry on.
Well, so I have had a child die. My daughter Nicaea died, and you're never the same, right? So there's a certain level of complexity when you never see the child. So, for example, if your wife has a miscarriage, there's this idea in your head as a man of the child that you lost, right? Where the woman, she had a physical experience with it that you didn't have. It's similar like that when a guy was robbed of a child through abortion, right? Where the woman murders his child out of selfishness, right? She's willing to have sex, and creates this life, and there's this new body inside of her body, right? That she destroys. And so I think the first thing is, like, you really did lose a child. My brother had a girlfriend that aborted his child, and it messed with them. It should, right? It's a real loss. So I think you recognize it as a real loss, and you mourn it, and then you avoid wicked women like that moving ahead.
Yeah.
I think those you think about that. Like, guys need to think about that. Like, so some people are scared of paying alimony for their own life. Maybe they should also be scared of a woman killing their child. Also, a woman, it goes both ways, because I think a lot of us would be like happy. Well, a lot of men are willing to pay for their kids, right? That's a false idea that men all are deadbeats and they don't want to provide. That's not true. It's amazing the lengths that men will go to protect their children. And so one reason that we should think a lot about being in sexually immoral relationships where there's no hardcore commitment and you understand each other and share the same values is because if that woman gets pregnant with your kids, you just terminate it, right? And not that doesn't happen sometimes in marriage. It does. But eliminate risk wherever you can.
Yeah.
And I would just say, man, you lost a kid. It's terrible. You're right to be upset, and it's a terrible thing. And you just you move forward one day at a time when you realize things like that.
Do you I want to ask Dutch a question. Do you or can you hold yourself responsible, because what I find in the red pill community and this manosphere we're in is that a lot of guys don't hold themselves accountable for not being that man in that relationship. Can you, and I'm not sure, Michael Foster and everybody else on the panel, I'm not blaming Dutch at all, but do you hold any responsibility yourself for not, we'll say that word, and I'm not a big fan of all these words, but holding that frame and being that man that she wanted to have that child. I find so much in the manosphere that men don't hold themselves accountable for things in the relationship. Do you find any of that to yourself?
You know what? I blame myself for the level of being primitive in choosing somebody that I saw from the beginning who based their life off of this is being a young soldier in Germany, and the weekends are full with alcohol, doing ecstasy, drugs. This is the side of the military they don't tell you about, okay? The choosing that somebody that you should have left in the club, choosing somebody who has daddy issues, choosing someone like this, you don't run off and marry them and see that's like something was wrong with me. Maybe it was the too much the alcohol or the lifestyle I was living. It was just not making me think clear. No, I don't think it was. I do get it. Some guys are just like with a good woman, but they just beta male out. They're just not taking they're not taking the lead role. They're not, but I think that most of the problem was I chose the wrong person. You know what I mean? It made me very more selective of the type of women I choose to affiliate myself with. I don't want to put the blame on her. I really don't. But my family, my parents cringed when they found out I was marrying her. So it was choosing the wrong person, but taking accountability. It takes two people to tango, and you're responsible for this bullshit. So I'm responsible. It would have never happened if I didn't invite this woman in my life. That's how I view it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you learn, you move on, and you don't repeat the mistakes. You choose quality people.
That's it.
You choose women who have a relationship with God. You choose women who have quality attributes.
Well, I'm going to put it in real simple terms. Yeah. Anybody else can chime in. Michael Foster. It sounds like she chose you. You didn't choose her.
Yeah. And it was convenient. Yeah. Beta male phase of my life where I wasn't, you meet somebody who blows your mind. They're doing these pornographic X-rated things in bed with you. So you're young, you're 22, you're like, oh yeah, oh my God, yeah, this will work. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? So you got to vet. It's a vetting process. The problems with countries when they just let anybody in, that's the same thing with relationships. It's a vetting process. You got to vet who you're letting in, that close to your life that you're willing to marry them. And unfortunately, when you don't have guidance, at that point, my father was out of my life. I was a grown man in another country working for the Army. You don't have the proper guidance. You're lost, you're just lost, so it's you take the hard knocks and you move it on, and you realize you need to constantly feed yourself the proper nourishment, intellectual nourishment, to know that it's not a book you read one day and put down. It's something like food. You constantly got to nourish yourself with it. If you will look at it in spirituality, if you look at it in the sense of red pill knowledge, you constantly nourish yourself. So when these type of women appear like demons, it's like, no, go away, no, stop.
That's right.
Go away.
Yeah. That's something I've been smoking a lot on, is cultivating faith. Cultivating my faith.
And just so everybody knows, when we say smoke on it, it really means thinking about it. That's kind of
it's an inside joke.
Yeah. So when we mention smoke on it, like we say, hey, go ahead and smoke on it, that means
Smoke on it, I think it also mean pray on it too.
Yeah.
You know? Meditate, pray on it.
Dutch, I'm glad you're here, man, but I'm going to ask you what are your religious views? I'm curious.
I was born in a Lutheran Protestant family, but as I got older, and I know, some people roll their eyes, but as I got older, I hate to use that cliche term. I just got spiritual. I mean, I still, if I'm invited, I still go to church, but I just have it like my own personal relationship with God, and I just feel, in my opinion, and that doesn't mean, if you're a Catholic or whatever evangelical Christian, everyone should do them, but for me, it's better for me, my personal relationship with the universe, God, the all, whatever you want to call it. It's personal, you know what I mean? And, if I'm invited to a church, I'll go. It's no problem with it. I'm not like anti man-made religion type of guy, but, I do believe in a higher power. I subscribe to a divine creator, of course.
So from what it sounds like to me, you subscribe to Christianity is really your base.
I can't say that because I don't want to get into the dissecting it. I understand more Christianity. They feel Jesus is okay in the Christian sense. I'm a Gnostic, meaning evangelical Christianity or most Christians believe Jesus is God in the flesh. I just feel he's a divine prophet. I know this sounds corny, but I just feel we're all God of children. The temple of God is within. And I understand some people they roll their eyes, who are Christians, and say, yeah, you're going to hell. You know what I mean? But that's where I'm coming from. You know what I mean? I'm not saying Jesus didn't exist or he wasn't a divine being. He was, obviously we're still talking about him thousands of years later. But I just, I don't question it anymore. It's something divine about the man. That's cool. But I'm not asking for forgiveness for my sins. That's just my preference. That's just who I am. You know what I mean? But if you subscribe to is Christianity, Islam, or one of the Abrahamic religions, everybody chooses their path.
Okay, I've said quite a few times on this broadcast that somebody's going to be very disappointed. If you're a Muslim, if you're a Hindu, if you're a Buddhist. There's going to be people that are disappointed when their time comes. I mean, there's not going to be those 72 virgins that you're expecting. It's going to be, my thought is it's going to be Jesus at that gate. It's so. Michael Foster, you got to chime in on this.
I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, I believe Jesus is the only way. I think if he's a divine prophet, he's a madman, right? So Jesus claims to be God. He demands worship. He receives worship, right? He makes himself equal to God. So just imagine a man making himself equal to God. Like so I think there's an old approach to this. He's either a liar, right? His claims aren't true that he makes, that he's the son of God, that he fulfills these prophecies or whatever. He's a lunatic. He's a crazy person like Charles Manson or someone claiming to have some sort of Messiah complex. He's a legend. It never really happened, right? It's all made up and it's just some sort of creation. Or he's the Lord. You don't have many other options than that. So what you have to do is you have to ask, what were his claims and are they historical? And so he claims to be God. In John 20:28, Jesus calls him my Lord and my God, right? Or no, excuse me, Thomas calls him my Lord and my God and worships Jesus like God. He receives that worship. And later in the Bible, when John's in heaven in Revelation, he bows down before these angels and they're like, hey, they lift him up. And they're like, don't worship us, right? And so I think the church has done a job, though, at demonstrating the strength of Christianity, the how the Bible makes sense, how it does agree with history agrees with the Bible, the complete self-defeating nature of many other religions and where they go to. So, I mean, basically, you're going to have there's only two types of religion. There's oneism and twoism. Either everything is part of the one, or there was a God that existed and made everything before. So if there is no God, well, then that means the universe is eternal and the universe is uncreated, and it's always existed, and we're part of this great uncreated mass. So in some versions it retracts and then explodes. That would be more like a Carl Sagan understanding of things. Or if you're into, say, Buddhism or Hinduism, it's part of the one Brahman, ultimate reality. It's all made of the same stuff. And all our distinctions are illusions. We're really not different. We're all part of the same divine reality, right? So all other religions besides Christianity break down that direction. Now, Islam, so Christianity is a fulfillment of Judaism, and Islam really is just a ripoff of, Muhammad heard this stuff. He was interested in being involved with Christianity, but he rejected them and supposedly had these visions out in this cave. But it's just kind of like a cultic version of Christianity, really. It's like a weird mixture of things. Like he even talks about Jesus in the Quran, and how you should respect them. But Jesus would call Muhammad a false prophet. You know what I mean? So there's a sense where Christianity is totally distinct from all other religions. And again, you either have a creator that always existed and made reality, or made this time-space continuum that we exist in, or reality, the time-space continuums always existed in one form or another. So that all religions break down into one of those two major categories. So I think Christianity is true. I think it makes a lot of sense. I used to be an atheist. I've spent a lot of time with agnostics, with atheists, with people of other religions. My grandmother was Jewish, and I've listened to their ideas, and I find them unpersuasive, and the gospel of Jesus Christ to be very persuasive. And I'm glad to be saved. I'm happy.
Oh, that's good, man. You know, I would call Michael Foster one of the most. Is intellectual a bad word, Michael Foster?
I try to stay accessible. I don't know. It depends what circles you run into. It can be.
Yeah, I want to say I won't say intellectual. I want to say an intellectual theologian. Is that a good?
I mean, I have been in the ministry my whole life. I teach the Bible, but I've also spent my whole life talking to people. Mm-hmm. And so I think what you really want to be able to do as anyone in any area that you're expert is to make it understandable, right? So the best teachers, whether you're teaching carpentry, you're teaching people psychology or anthropology or theology, the goal is to be able to communicate where it's not about you showing off or bragging, but about having like real discussions about ideas that matter. And I think as long I do believe I know what I'm talking about, but I want to make sure it's not some sort of weird pissing contest or just throwing out big words, you know what I mean? So, and I think some intellectuals are like that. They just like to hear themselves talk. So I don't want to be that sort of guy, but I have read a couple books here and there.
Yeah. Gonzo, I know you got something to say. So you're sitting on the edge of your chair.
Well, and anybody who's been listening to the conversations that we've been having on Man's channel recently, I've been doing a deep dive into Catholicism, not because I believe in it, but because I want to understand it. And I want to understand the history. I want to understand the points that people are making.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it's been really interesting. Just analyzing that because as far as religions go, other than just, I guess, nihilism and and Christianity, that's really just been the only sort of firsthand experience that I've had. I don't know very many. I've never known very many like Catholics in my life. I don't think I've ever been to a Catholic church. I have a couple Catholics in my family, but I just really wanted to understand it. So I've been doing some reading and some. I've been watching different Catholics, give their points on it.
Who are you reading?
Oh well, actually, I mean, I haven't gotten into the church fathers yet, but that's where I'm thinking of going as far as books. I think Elliot Hulse threw out a couple titles recently. I think it's called like the Way of a Pilgrim and the Jesus Prayer or something like that. There's a couple books that he threw out recently that I'm getting ready to check those out. But
I have a Catholic story for you that I think is kind of funny. You want to hear it?
Yeah, sure.
So I married a Catholic. She was a Protestant by the time we got married. But her dad wanted me to convert to Roman Catholicism, and he wanted her to take it serious. So he asked if I would go to this Becoming Catholic class or Rediscovering Roman Catholicism. So I went because I was like, whatever. I'd love to hear what they have to say. It's interesting, and I read their newer catechism. I read the whole thing, and so we were in this class with this nun. And she was like out of the Blues Brothers. You remember the nuns? They're just kind of like no nonsense in the Blues Brothers. So this chick was like that. She was hard not to like just because she was no nonsense. But anyhow, I asked all these questions. I was never a smart aleck. I was always respectful. They were like legit questions, right? But the more questions I asked, the more the people in the class that were all really lapsed Catholics coming back started to doubt. Right? They're like, I don't know. She kept saying the Holy See, the Holy See. And I was like, Holy Seed? Are you saying the Holy Seed? No, the Holy See. What's the Holy See? Well, the Pope. Why do you call him the Holy See? Well, it's because that's what you call someone that speaks from the seat, right? That's what it means. I didn't know that. But anyhow, I was like, so where in the world do you get the idea of the Pope from in Scripture? Where do you come up with that idea? And she says, thou art Petros, and upon this rock I will build my church. And I told her, I said, well, I thought that was a joke. I thought Peter's name meant pebble, right? And the rock that he was going to build was Peter's confession that Jesus is the Christ. So right before that, Peter says he believes that Jesus is the Christ. So I didn't think, why would you build the church on Peter, a man? Like if what you would build it on the confession that Jesus is the only way of salvation, that he is the Messiah, is the fulfillment of all prophecy. I asked her that. I was being sincere. I was like, well, I thought that's the rock was his confession, not Peter himself. And she said, I had never heard that. And then all the people in the class had these questions. So then they get a letter at Emily's dad, my wife. He gets a letter asking that I wouldn't come back to the class. and they switched me to a class in the basement. I'm not joking. Guardian Angel Church in east side of Cincinnati. So I go to the basement class, and in the basement class, there's this hippy dippy chick teaching it, telling us all how like you can be saved through Buddha and you can be saved whatever. But I remember the nun, before I got asked not to be in that class, I told her, like, look, I'm Protestant. I don't think Roman Catholics are right. I don't believe the Eucharist is the literal body and blood of Jesus. I don't believe any of that. Can I be saved? And she straight up, the nun was like, no, you'll go to hell. And I hugged her because I thought it was great. I respect the honesty, right? She believes what she believes. How do you not respect that? She's not going to like toe the line. But the woman downstairs, she said, oh, no one goes to hell. You can be saved through multiple ways. And I was like, you should talk to the nun upstairs. You know what I mean? Like, the nun upstairs doesn't agree. So that was my discipleship in the Roman Catholic Church. That's my story.
Well, I just find it interesting too. Like I'm sure you've noticed this, but like there's some people say, well, Catholics are Christians. They just worship a little differently.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The thing that I get hung up on is how you got to go through a priest to be able to talk to, like, to be able to get directly in communion with God. You got to go through another man.
Well, that's what the church is. That's what the church is. It is that they are the ultimate authority.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to throw this out there that we have a very hardcore Catholic in the center of this chat box, and that is Anthony. And I'm Anthony. I want to know if you want to respond to Michael Foster, because you have anything to say. It's not like we're knocking the Catholic Church, but I know that.
I love I read Catholic authors. I love E. Michael Jones. I've read Scott Hahn. I've read, I love Pope Gregory. I've read his books on pastoral care. I love, my son's name Athanasius. So we can talk all Roman Catholic stuff you want. I've got the catechisms in my room. I'd love to hear any thoughts on it.
I just wonder if Anthony is triggered by any of this. I'm curious.
No, not at all. No, I've heard that, and I kind of walked away from the Catholic Church myself for many years, and I came back, and there's a few books that really influenced me, but I can't recall. I could probably look them up and then, put them on the broadcast later or something like that. But there's stuff about the Eucharist, stuff about A Case for Catholicism. I think that actually the book is called A Case for Catholicism, and it does talk about what Peter said at the end of, I don't know what, it might have been the Gospel or the Acts. I don't know where Christ comes to him on a boat. He doesn't recognize him, and Peter comes up from a boat, and Christ is on the shore cooking fish, and that's where he says, "Peter, do you love me?" And he said, "Yes, Lord, I love you." "Peter, do you love me?" "Lord, you know I love you." But then, and his response was three different ways. Like one was, "Feed my sheep." I don't know. Anyways, but you got to realize that. Well, of course, Protestants say that all your faith you get from the Bible. But you got to realize the Bible wasn't written in its form for many years, and most of what the Bible is there's a lot of tradition in it, and you got to realize that, and it's not that it's untrue. It's just that there's a lot of oral tradition in it, and there's a lot of things that you can't read the Bible. It's not a playbook for Christianity. It's a good approximation, but there's a lot. There's a lot there that I won't say is missing, but without tradition, you just can't get there. And Protestants have been fighting that for 500 years, and now, I mean, where's the strong Protestants? They're pretty much weak. They're. I mean, Catholic Church is weak right now, but
crushing it, man.
Protestants are just like, who? Protestant Church?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. Good luck. There's about one church in California that's crushing it, but that's about it. I'm crushing it, like you. I'm crushing it, but I'm not a priest. I'm not a pastor, so I'm crushing it. But who cares? Hey, you know what? The religion of the mask is crushing it. That religion is crushing it.
For the moment.
Yeah. You know their symbol, by the way? Are you familiar? Oh, no. Close.
Yeah, we can all do it.
Yes, you can all do it.
That's Anthony's mask. Yeah.
It's the world's smallest mask.
The world's smallest mask.
For the biggest religion at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's statism is what it is, and the Romans called the early Christians atheists because in the Roman Empire you could believe whatever you wanted. You really could, as long as Caesar was Lord, as long as Caesar was treated as a divine king. And so Christianity was an attack upon the throne because they would only Jesus is Lord. They wouldn't bow. And that's why there was a lot of intense persecution of the Christian church unto Theodosius in 300 Theodosius makes Christianity a legal religion, and then Constantine makes it the religion of the Roman Empire. And that just shows that even when Christians are down, when we don't have positions of power, we still survive, and we find ways to actually take over the power structures, which is what happened in the Roman Empire. But they called Christians atheists because we would not worship the state as a god. And that's the battle that we are right now. People, you listen to liberals and they act like the state can do no wrong, they can fix everything. And of course, our experience is when the state gets involved in anything but war, and even war is not good, but when they get involved, they screw everything up. They make everything worse. It's the worst god of all time. And I think regardless where we come from, we can all agree on that.
Sure.
Make atheists great again.
Well, I'm gonna go with this right here, which is my pink hat, and I'm sure everybody will appreciate that. Make women great again.
Perfect.
I think this is, Michael, I would love for you to hang out for this segment, but I think it's a great time to go into Gonzo News. I think it's time. What we do now is we go into the Gonzo has a few news clips and things that we're going to break down for a little bit, but I would encourage everybody here, John Boston and Michael Foster, to respond. So I'm going to throw it out there right now. Get ready, guys, because it's time.
Coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas, Gonzo News.
There it is.
That's cool.
All right. We got the first one for the night. Let's see here if I can make the article load here. Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh, boy.
To feature Robin DiAngelo reading White Fragility.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if you guys have, I've seen this book sitting at Walmart. It actually sits right next to Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. And then usually next to that, it's like 20 other books about how to, you're an evil white person, like those books. But actually, this is so this is an article from the Babylon Bee, guys. This was a meme, but it was too good. It was too good.
Yeah, tell me more about this now, because I don't know if I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, Tampa, Florida. Hundreds of NFL fans are excitedly looking forward to Super Bowl LV between the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Arguably, there's been even more buzz this year as the halftime show is rumored to consist of a live reading of White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo.
Oh, my God.
I can think of nothing more unifying for the country right now than to read how inherently racist America is and all the ways white people are to blame, said the author and diversity trainer Robin DiAngelo. This will truly bring us together so we can begin healing.
Is that really our Super Bowl halftime? Is that really?
It's Babylon Bee. It's Babylon Bee, guys.
Babylon Bee is a satire site.
Satire, yeah.
Did you see Elon Musk tweeted them out? He's like, you guys should read Babylon Bee. I was like, no way. Elon Musk is? That's crazy.
Yeah. No, but
well, I got one thing to say about the Super Bowl, and I guess Bill Belichick really can't claim a whole lot anymore, can he?
Hey, I got my first Patriots Super Bowl hat here from
let's
see, Super Bowl 36. This was in 19 years ago.
Yeah. Well, how does Belichick feel right now about this? That's my kind of statement on the Super Bowl.
He hasn't been available on the news. I know Kraft has come out and said that he supports Brady.
Yeah.
But,
well, it's just, to me, it's like, I know, everybody said that, Belichick, Brady is because of Belichick. And obviously Tom Brady proved that wrong, didn't he? Doesn't matter where he's at. I mean, that's the truth with that. So,
well, I went to 6 Super Bowl parades, froze my ass off every single time except for one of them, and each time they won, the crowds got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the last one, it was unbelievable how many people showed up for that 2 years ago.
all right, let's move on to more Gonzo news.
All right, we got your health and nutrition news here. Soybean oil. Just discovered that soybean oil causes more obesity than coconut oil and fructose. So, so we found here that a diet high in soybean oil causes more obesity and diabetes than a diet high in fructose, a sugar commonly found in soda and processed foods.
By the way, when you see soybean oil, it's typically labeled vegetable oil. Just FYI.
Yes.
Yeah, they
isn't that what's sending to the Chinese a bunch of soybeans or something?
There's something going on there.
I mean, the largest producer of soybeans, I believe, is the U.S., Argentina, and Brazil. Right, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the largest producer and export. That's one of the biggest exports in the United States is soybeans. So,
yeah.
I think it's I'm a little bit conspiracy theorist on soybeans and soy. I know Dutch. I'm sure you stay away from soy 100%.
I take pro hormones, so I'm opposite direction of that. I'm trying to amp up my testosterone. So
yes, sir. Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, I am a anti-soy advocate here. I did a video on soy, I don't know, last year sometime. It's on my channel, and I kind of discuss and talk about that. If people were to look in their cabinets right now, and you can look in mine, there's no soy. But if you look at things, even so much as like pre-made meatballs had soy in them. There was things like I made surimi. You guys know what surimi is? It's the fake crab meat. Okay, but there is one that's made without soy. How do you take whitefish, which is surimi, and add soy to it? How is that possible? But if you look at everything that you look at, and even when you go around the aisles, there's things in that meat case that are filled with soy. Even like meatballs you see that are pre-made to be cooked, they have soy in them. So you check things like, you've heard of like your protein waffles and things like that, all have soy. Everything has soy in it. Your beef jerky, like your Jack Link's beef jerky, that's all has soy. Every bit. So I look at it as kind of a conspiracy theorist viewpoint on that, is that they're trying to emasculate us. So.
Yeah, and I mean, this was a mouse study here, but compared to mice on the high coconut oil diet, mice on the high soybean oil diet showed increased weight gain, larger fat deposits, a fatty liver with signs of injury, diabetes, and insulin resistance, all of which are part of the metabolic syndrome. Fructose in the diet had less severe metabolic effects than the soybean oil, although it did cause more negative effects in the kidney and marked increase in prolapsed rectums, a symptom of inflammatory bowel disease, which like obesity is on the rise. Prolapsed rectums are on the rise.
Wow.
Literally.
Jesus. Wow. That's a tough one.
Yeah. So
listen, if they put soy in ribeyes, we're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I mean, when you go to the restaurant, you order the steak. Chances are they fried that on a pan with soybean oil on there.
So basically, what you're saying is soy will turn your ass inside out. I mean, that's what prolapse is, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when your guts are falling out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anthony says, "Let them eat soy." Wow. Okay.
Well, guys, I'm going to leave on that note because I feel like I've reached the high point of the show.
Okay.
I don't know if we can improve on that. Thanks for having me on. God bless, guys. Always nice.
Michael
Take
Foster,
care, Michael.
I really do appreciate you coming on. It's always a super treat for you to be on here. And I do want you to come back on with Paul Galvin. And I think you guys would have, I think I sent you a message, but I don't want to call it a debate, but I think Paul at 19 years old, I think somebody like you, and again, he's a guy that's close to his father, good kid, but I think he has a lot of questions, and I just think it would be a great conversation with you and Paul. I'm surprised Paul's on here tonight, but I would love to have you on some night with him. So
we'll make it happen. Take care, guys. Thanks.
But I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate your
Likewise.
time.
Always a privilege.
Thank you.
Night. I'd like to have him on for Monday Night Man Hour. I'll have to bring that up to him soon.
Yeah. So
me and Gonzo could hit him up.
Well, hit him up on Twitter. You're on Twitter. Just hit him up there for the message.
Well, I'm not on Twitter, no. But yeah, I have to find a way to hit him up.
He's got to get on Gab.
Yeah.
The way things are going, no one's going to be left on Twitter.
Oh, Michael Foster's on Gab.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I think he's got a blue check. In fact, I know he does.
Wait, Tony, do you are you on Gab?
I'm on Gab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Tony Bruno, T21 Surfer. Yeah.
I gotta find everybody on Gab. So.
Yeah. It's a little bit slow. I don't know if you guys recognize that. If anybody's on Gab, that it's not quite. There is no Gab app either, I believe. I mean, I looked for one. Gab is only like it's a website, isn't it? Yeah, there's no Gab app. It's not like a Twitter app. So
I don't know if there is an app.
I thought there was a Gab app.
No, I don't. I think there is one, but it's not Gab. It's not like the Gab official. I'm pretty.
Okay.
99%.
I'm not on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure on that. So my brother has a blue check on Gab now, just so you guys know. So I'm proud of him for that. So let's move on.
Let's see here. All right, let's go to this one. This is some heavy hitting stuff here. This comes from Forbes, which is the premier news outlet here. YouTube is taking down raw footage from the Capitol riot as it tries to crack down on misinformation. YouTube has removed 2 videos from independent journalists documenting the Capitol riots, including one from a progressive news outlet, causing frustration that the Google-owned company's efforts to combat right-wing misinformation is harming good faith journalism. So, obviously now we've gotten to a point where it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what side you're on. Doesn't matter who you're doing it for. It's like, we can't have the receipts. We can't have the receipts for anything. We just got to get rid of all of it. We have to be able to write this story entirely the way we want it. That's how I see it.
So let's back that up a little. So what you're saying is like these. I mean, I have the video and I've sent it to you guys of the girl getting shot at the.
Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible.
Yeah. Has anybody seen the actual raw footage?
Yes.
Has everybody? You haven't seen it?
Yes, I have seen it.
Yeah, I have it, and it's not what people think. It's truly not. I showed it to somebody yesterday, and this is why screen recording on your phone is so important, because I grabbed this off of Twitter super quick. And it is absolutely not what I thought it was going to be. To me, oh, wow, I got to be careful what I say here. I got to be real careful what I say here. How do I put this? Oh, maybe you know what? I'm not going to breach that subject. I'm just not going to do it right now. I just don't think it's. Yeah, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. But if anybody wants it, I'll send it to you. So
All
I
right.
I just can't go there right
I don't know where you were going.
Well, I was going to go. I was going to go to say, when you see the video, I'll go there a little bit, but some people will say it's an assassination. I mean, it's brutal. It's not
Yeah.
what everybody thinks
Right.
when you see it. It's not. So, but that's as far as I want to get into it. But
Okay.
Dutch, I will send it to you via email if you haven't seen it. It's quite shocking. I don't think it's something that I think is been put online that doesn't last 30 seconds.
Giuliani had that on his video he did one night, and then YouTube, being YouTube, they blocked that video that he put out. But he did put the raw footage of that when it happened.
Okay.
And I was actually shocked that he did show that.
Yeah, it's not what everybody thinks. It's not what went down is not what people think went down. I'm not going to give my opinion on whether it was right or wrong, or
Can I make a comment about the Capitol Police?
Sure.
The woman who was shot, there were police right behind her who had radios and to communicate with other people that were there, and they were just right behind the woman who was shot. I was just like, what's this all about?
I wonder if you're talking about the same footage that I have.
Maybe it's different.
Yeah, because this is in your face. This is as real as it gets.
Wow.
So you saw it, correct?
Mhm.
I sent it to
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Man, you saw it, correct?
Mhm. Yeah.
It's pretty brutal. It really is. And Dutch, you being a soldier, I don't know if it's how do I say that you're polarized to this kind of stuff. I don't know if it wouldn't affect you being a soldier, it would affect a typical guy like myself who hasn't been in war. You know what I mean? But I will send it to you so you can see.
No, I'd love to check it out. I only saw a version where her face was like blurred out. They didn't really.
This is. I'm glad I screen record. So, if anybody doesn't know how to screen record on your phone, does everybody know how to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Anthony, you don't have an iPhone, so we know you can't do it. But so if you screen record, the reason I say screen record, because what happens is when people post things, you go ahead and drop down screen record, and then now you have that. So I think it's kind of a important feature nowadays, because I think with the fake news and things like that when we see something, I think it's important that we kind of retain that information, just because it's not going to be out there. And I think that I just think that it's a good thing to do is screen record things.
Well, and I just want to make this clear too. Like, this hasn't just been with the footage of like what we've just been talking about, like on the scene at the actual siege or what have you. YouTube also, according to Forbes, YouTube also took down a video from independent journalist Ford Fisher, who uploaded footage from President Donald Trump's speech at and the crowd's reaction before everything at the Capitol, which is also a key moment for the impeachment complaint against Trump. So that had nothing to do with any of the violence or anything that came after that. But they have also taken that down on the grounds of, we want to stop misinformation.
Well, isn't misinformation, that word is totally screwed right now too. Misinformation means, I think, to to a certain side that we're only going to show you what we want. Misinformation is really a way to suppress the truth in reality.
Yeah.
Yep. When I think of misinformation, I think of CNN and MSDNC and all my local stations that I have here in Boston.
Yeah, misinformation is just like something that, oh, I don't like that. That's misinformation now. That's what that means. It's just stuff that people don't like.
Well, let's say goodnight to Earl's daughter. Earl's daughter, we always appreciate you coming on. Always awesome that you're here, and we love your comments, and we appreciate you. I also want to welcome Peekaboo, because she is here right now too in our live chat. But welcome, Peekaboo.
We swapped out one great woman with another.
Yeah, yes, sir. You know what? If anybody watched Thursday night with Pat Stedman, and what Pat had said, it was something that was really cool. You guys might remember this from Thursday night stream, is that women are now coming into men's spaces, but they're not coming in the way that people think. In other words, the feminists and things like that are not the only women that are coming into these spaces now. I mean, we have some really cool women that come into this stream every time we stream. And these women are all giving great compliments, giving their input. I remember Earl's daughter said, what was it, last week or the week before, that there are women out here like me that love to be in a home. In other words, there are still women. And that gives hope to really single guys. We got 4 single guys. Me, we've got John Boston, we've got Dutch, we've got Anthony. So that gives some great, that's some great feedback. That women are entering these men's spaces to, I think, because anybody want to touch this real quick? I mean, do you guys understand what Pat Stedman said about why they're coming into these spaces?
Not exactly. I missed that part.
I didn't see the recording, but I can understand why they're coming in. Even your brother had mentioned about how many women are on his channel.
Yeah.
And I look at like Lindy Sellers, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
To see that somebody like that coming into this space, it's not what I would have imagined to see women coming in. I know this girl out in San Francisco that I'm friends with that she watches your brother's channel, and I never told her about your brother's channel. She says, by the way, do you follow so and so? And I was shocked that she was on some of these channels, and they're finding them. It's amazing.
So what's the reason, he said?
The reason?
Yeah, what's the reason that?
Well, the reason is because these are women that respect men, that love their feminine side.
Yeah, it's encouraging for them.
Yeah, it's encouraging to see men talk about men's problems and be masculine and be men, not always,
crying.
Yeah, not crying, not bitching, not moaning, But we also, we have like Dutch is new tonight. He's a new panel guest, and he's an author of a book about his. I guess really, because I'm looking forward to reading that. But it's about your experiences in other countries, if I'm correct, on basically the red pill philosophies. Is that kind of where we're going with your book?
Yeah. Just mix in different dialogues, different stories. So to outline narrate female nature. It's tit for tat. If you do this, this is what's 9 times out of 10 is the outcome you're gonna get. Just out of biologically how women respond.
Mm-hmm. It's cool. Kind of like a prescription. That's cool.
Do
Not too
me-
many guys had the balls to give a prescription in a book.
You know what? That's real quick. Tell everybody how they can get your. Is it an ebook, if I'm correct?
It's an ebook and paperback. You know, I'm old school. I mean, I love ebook, and I wanted to work on the audiobook, but it's ebook and paperback. It's on Amazon.
Okay, tell everybody how they can find it and the name of it. So
yeah, you just go to Amazon and type in Razor Blade Romance book, and it'll pop up. It'll pop up, and I'm not gonna lie. I named it after, you know, I just thought that the word romance is so peachy. It's so pink, and you know, and that's why I put the word romance. I mean razor blade, because I was like, it cuts. It's something that's gonna make you bleed. So I figured, you know, it makes you you think it's so beautiful. It makes you feel so serene, but at the same time, if you don't watch it, it's going to cut you. You know what I mean?
I love the title. It's kind of like an oxymoron is kind of thinking, right? I mean, that's a great title. That's a great title. Yeah. So Razor Blade Romance.
Yes.
On Amazon. Okay. Awesome. So anybody watching this, man, get his book. Check it out. Sure.
Yeah, and I'm also on YouTube. You're going to laugh at this title. My YouTube channel is called Travel and Bang.
Okay.
People think it's funny. Travel and Bang, and I go
Travel
through.
And Bang?
Yeah, Travel and Bang, and I narrate stories of just of my travels to different countries and what I encountered with the women that I met. You know what I mean? Just you know, it's the typical maybe YouTube channel where I give dating advice, but then there's some videos where I like I said, so I always enjoy that, thinking about, you know, whatever. When I was dating a Kuwaiti, an Arabic woman, I was dating an Arabic woman. This is weirdest stuff. And the weird shit that I encountered with that, or if I travel to another country in Okinawa, Japan. And but at the end, it all comes down to female nature. I realized that's the main point. Nothing.
It really does. It really does.
Nothing changed.
It's all the same.
It's the same. It's the same game. Same game, different name. You know.
Okay. You guys are familiar with AMS, of course, like we talked earlier, but he breaks down a lot of things on female nature. You know, and this is where. I might want to. Oh, how do I put this again? Now, female nature to me is again. I kind of go back to. I'm a real big enthusiast on bringing things back to the man. In other words, holding yourself accountable and owning your own shit. So it's kind of like female nature to me is what you allow in your life. Okay. Not that I think there are biological imperatives and biological nature in a male and a female, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole. You know what I mean? So, but regardless, I'm looking forward to getting your book, and I will get the paperback. That's for sure. So,
all right. Let me know. Let me know. I'll send you a copy. You know.
Yeah, I like physical books. There's something about it. I think a physical book is so. To me, sitting on the couch and putting my feet up and reading a book is so different than being on your laptop or on a Kindle or iPad.
I agree.
Yeah,
so. I like the physical book. I still go if I'm looking for a book. Sometimes I actually will go to my local library and get a book.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many copies of Shawn T. Smith's Tactical Guide to Women that I've lent out. I have lent out because I bought quite a few of them. I have bought 4 or 5 copies of The Rational Male. I don't even have them anymore. Just so you know, they're gone. They never come back. Who else book? Ivan Throne's book. God, there's been a few of them that I've lent out. So, yeah, the book name is Razor Blade Romance. That's the name. So,
under of course, under my real name, Mark Shemwell. So,
okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, I hope you get some book sales.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And what you do, Mark, do this for me. So anybody, I'll put an Amazon link. So in fact, I'll be able to find it. So I'll put an Amazon link in the description of this video for
All
that,
right.
for sure. So
Appreciate it.
yeah. So all right, let's move on. Some more Gonzo news.
Yeah, so I just found some stuff from last week as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and it's still new news, but we're just gonna cover this stuff real quick here. The Proud Boys have been charged with conspiracy in Capitol riot. Now this gets funny, right? Because you have that headline, and then just today, this comes from AmericanThinker.com. The elites have come out, and they have admitted that they have rigged the election.
Shocking.
I know. How surprising, right? Surprise, surprise. The cabal has come out of the closet in a shocking piece that ran in Time magazine titled The Secret Bipartisan History of the Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election by Democrat with byline Molly Ball. Molly Ball. All right, interesting name. This is the inside story, and this comes from the article. This is the inside story of the conspiracy to save the 2020 election, based on access to the group's inner workings, never-before-seen documents, and interviews with dozens of those involved from across the political spectrum. It is the story of an unprecedented, creative, and determined campaign whose success also reveals how close the nation came to disaster. Every attempt to interfere with the proper outcome of the election was defeated, says Ian Bassin, the co-founder of Protect Democracy, a nonpartisan rule of law advocacy group. But it's massively important for the country to understand that it didn't happen accidentally. The system didn't work magically. Democracy is not self-executing. Wow. That's why the participants want the secret history of the 2020 election told. Even though it sounds like a paranoid fever dream, a well-funded cabal of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies working together behind the scenes to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, steer media coverage, and control the flow of information. They were not rigging the election, they were fortifying it. And they believe the public needs to understand the system's fragility in order to ensure that democracy in America endures. Wow.
Yeah, anybody want to jump in on that? Feel free, man. Any of you guys want to interject? Jump in, John Boston, or
Well, I think if you think Joe Biden actually won, then you think two masks going to save you from COVID. I mean, I watched Mike Lindell's Absolute Proof. I've seen it a couple of times, and I look at that and I say, wow, imagine if this was reversed and it was the other way around. I mean, they would be burning down every city right now. It would be unbelievable. The hypocrisy of the left, just with that article of Time, it's just amazing. They're blatantly just out there saying, look what we did. And no one's going to challenge them on it. Nothing's going to happen from it. And I know what do they refer to? Someone made a comment of the, on the elite side, these elites refer to, the common folk that go out and vote for these people, as the useful idiots. I think they refer to them as. Maybe I got the terminology wrong, but it's. I think it's just amazing that this could happen, and it's interesting. The day after the election, I got a call from my uncle in Italy, and he says the American election makes the 2000 Yugoslavian election look totally legit, and Yugoslavia doesn't exist anymore. I mean, you want to talk about Russian interference? That country's gone. But that's what he basically said, and being in Italy with Yugoslavia right next door. So it's interesting. We'll see what's going to come out of this, but anything that comes from the right-hand side, the left just says it's propaganda or it's this, it's just, or they'll go on a character assassination kind of thing. As soon as Lindell put that documentary out, you'll find tons of YouTube videos calling him a whack job. He's a drunk. He's an alcoholic. He's a drug addict. He's having an affair with this person. I mean, it's just let's just character assassinate him. Oh, OAN is not a valid news network. I mean, it's like that's the world we live in today. If I go on too much longer, YouTube's going to ban this video.
And I it's funny that you brought up Mike Lindell because I also found this second article from the Babylon Bee, which I thought was too great to not mention. But it says here, Mike Lindell releases new high-capacity assault pillow. It just killed me. Mike Lindell announced today the release of his company's latest product, the high-capacity assault My Pillow. The new My Pillows 15 is a fully semi-automatic assault pillow that can devastate opponents in a pillow fight with its deadly rapid-fire action. Plus, once you get tired from owning libs by shooting soft polyurethane.
Obviously, Babylon Bee is kind of like the Onion. Is that what I'm getting from Babylon?
Yeah. But it's pretty gold. Polyurethane foam at their dumb liberal faces for hours. You can just lie your My Pillow 15 on the ground and plunk right down for a nice nap. The My Pillow CEO says that the new assault pillow is the absolute best and most comfortable weapon to bring to a pillow fight.
What's it?
Also, Biden is.
What would we do without Anthony? I have no idea.
Let's see here. We got some good news here. You'll never hear CNN saying this, but Trump is winning election lawsuits, in case you haven't heard. This blew my mind today. It just gives you an idea of the contrast that what we see on television, but it's of late, which I don't watch TV, but when they do catch slivers of it on YouTube and that sort of thing. Of late, I've felt more and more that I'm back in a communist China, a place where every day, no matter what channel you turn on, what radio broadcast you listen to, or what online news service you subscribe to, except LifeSite News and a couple others, the same dreary party line spews out. The oligarchy is so confident that they can manipulate our very thoughts. After all, they control the search engines, Twitter feeds, trending news, yada, 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 yada. Party line of the sea. Where is the data here? From what I understand, it seems that there has been, I think over 20 lawsuits, and because the way they count how the lawsuits are stacked up and everything on the media, they can make it look like, oh, he's lost everything. They're saying, oh, he's lost. This stuff hasn't even made it to court. None of these things are true. In actuality, he's lost 7 lawsuits and he has won, I think, like 13 or something like that. So,
well, you got to be careful how the news classifies a lawsuit and how it wins, because if they have a standing of law and they have changed a law, and the law was changed, and then you have a lawsuit, and the judges will look at what the standing of that current law was. If the law was changed a year prior, and that's what a lot of things that happened here with this election, they're going to say, oh, Trump lost on this. Well, they lost because the judge was just following the law. And even if the judge said, you know what, you're right, they did do this, and they did scam you, I'm going to vote against this, right? It would go to an appeals process. And that judge will just be embarrassed. So the judge is just going to go with the loss. And, oh, Trump lost this lawsuit. They change the whole meaning of what's actually going on. They don't tell you the full story.
Yeah, it's so true. And I just to confirm those numbers. So it says here, first of the 80 total lawsuits, 34 have either been withdrawn, consolidated with other suits, or dismissed due to the legal technicalities such as lack of standing, timing, or jurisdiction. But it says here, of the 46 remaining lawsuits, 25 cases are still ongoing, so that the winner and loser of these cases is yet to be determined, while 21 have been completely adjudicated. These are cases where the court heard arguments considered any relevant evidence and then issued a formal ruling on the merits. You may be surprised to learn that of these 21 cases, Trump has won 14 and lost 7. He's winning more than he's losing.
That's news we don't hear.
Yeah. Just straight up don't hear it. But there it is.
Does anyone know what would happen if he when all the cases are heard and he wins?
Well, hopefully we have a new president again.
4 more years.
I feel at this point we don't have a president.
Anthony says, "Let us heal you, racists." Is that what? Well, that's going to bring me to this real quick.
They accuse you of being racist or having white privilege. It's best to just give them the finger and tell them how the cow ate the cabbage.
That's a good one. I'm going to bring
amazing.
Amazing is right.
I like that. I watched that video. You did a nice job with that one.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was good.
Doctor, are you familiar with Jesse Lee Peterson?
Yeah, I've seen him before.
Okay.
He's a colorful person. Yeah.
Have you seen my interview with him?
No, but I know what I'm gonna be doing Sunday. I'm gonna be checking all this out. This is.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to interview a lot of really good guys, Manosphere guys, and just because of my reach. So my interview with Jesse Lee Peterson is awesome. It was one of my most fun interviews. Let's just put it that way.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah. So all right, let's move on.
We got let's see here. You know what? I had to talk about this one. This is from ABC News. Angry maskless man was denied food service, and he returns with a gun to steal fried chicken and waffles. Now, I read this headline to my wife, and my wife was like, "Chicken and waffles? What's that?" And we ended up going,
pure heaven.
Yeah, we went on a whole tangent about like how you put the chicken on the waffle. I've never had chicken and waffles.
Some maple syrup.
Is that the way to do it?
I've never even heard of it. I've never even heard of it.
You've never heard? Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, is that a popular thing like in Louisiana?
I just think it's a southern thing.
Just a southern thing, yeah.
I've never seen that up north.
Don't they have that in L.A.? Roscoe's Waffles and Chicken. I think they have a place in L.A. called that.
They might, yeah.
I'm gonna have to search for waffles and chicken near me.
No, not waffles and chicken. Chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles.
There you
go. Ooh. Now that was just a moment of levity here. We're gonna get into the real dark stuff here, but this is how bad the thoughts are getting, guys. This is how toxic the thoughts are. I don't mean thoughts as in THOTS. I mean your actual thoughts in your mind. Before Deputy Clyde Kerr III took his own life Monday outside the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office, he left haunting final words in a series of social media videos. He was a father and military veteran, was 43 years old. In Kerr's videos, he talked directly to the camera on a range of issues from police brutality against black people and mental health needs in policing to division in society and children's exposure to murder, violence, and other negative or traumatic influences. He also describes his struggle to reconcile his identity as a black man with his profession while hinting at his impending suicide. And being a black man in law enforcement can be difficult, said Lafayette City Marshal Reggie Thomas, the first black person elected to a citywide position in Lafayette. But yeah, I was just like, wow. You know, you hear stuff like this and it's just, people get so wrapped up in these thoughts about their identity and their work and the narrative and all these things. And so it's like, wow, I can't reconcile.
No, Lafayette Parish, is that Louisiana? Man, I mean, you're Louisiana. Is that Lafayette? Is that, don't they call
I've never heard of Lafayette Parish.
Okay.
I'm actually not sure. I'm trying to figure out where this is at. But yeah. I don't know. But this comes from theadvocate.com, so you can check it out. But yeah, that's just this whole thing about it just makes me think, because this is an epidemic of being lost in your thoughts and being controlled by your thoughts, and obviously this is like the end result of that, right? But this is what it's taking the shape of. It's like, oh, I have worked in this industry that is against black people, or it's you know, it's an oppressive thing. And this is happening with men too, just in general, like, you know, how they're shaming men for being men, and it's like, oh, it's a travesty to be a man.
He got wrapped up in victim identity politics. That's what it sounds like. Victim identity politics. He sounds like he yeah. I mean, that's just my opinion, but yeah, it's toxic. It's toxic. It's no good. I don't agree with it.
I heard of somebody in the same sort of silo of like this whole BLM victim identity politics. Somebody looking to start some kind of a business, and they were looking for money to fund this business. And I thought to myself, man, I would love to see the cash flow projections and what they're trying to do for this, because I don't understand where they're going with this. What's in your brain here, and how they're going, but your thoughts, and turning your thoughts and ideas into monies. It's just it's crazy. It's become some of this like it's such a fad, you know.
Yeah.
The media's done the media's done a great job, I should say, of promoting all of this. And I've got a few friends of mine that are police. And I said, you know, do you actively go and target people and shoot people because of skin color? They're like, dude, what's wrong with you? No, of course not. You know?
This was in Louisiana, by the way. I just confirmed that. Yeah. Yeah.
He probably had some people got to him. You know what I mean? Usually it's the circles that guy was running in. Somebody got to him. They you know, and then it's that software. You know, you got the hard drive, your brain, and that software. Once it's implanted, it's toxic. It takes over, and it's probably what happened. This is my opinion.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what the environment was like at his department. You know, makes you wonder what, you know, the coworker profiles were looking like. So, but moving on from that, Kroger is going to pay $100 to workers who get the COVID jab. They're going to give you money.
Wow.
They're going to give you money to take it. You going to take the money or run? Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of that recently. A lot of people getting I've seen billboards and this sort of thing where they're like, "Come get it. We'll pay you money to take this." I'm like, is this just me or is this a bad sign, guys?
This morning I spoke to a friend of mine, and he knows this woman who was a nurse, and they were given the Pfizer vaccine, and all these people ended up getting sick except for one person who got the Moderna vaccine. And it was just a conversation. We're talking about it. This afternoon, I go into the supermarket grabbing a few things, and I hear this woman talking to a friend of hers and saying, she's like, "Oh my God, I got so sick." No, and she's like, no, I wanted the Moderna, but they gave me the Pfizer one, and I was sick. And I was like, "Oh, I can't believe this." So I call the buddy that told me the story, and I said, "I just heard this conversation." He says, "Yeah, the Pfizer one is what they're giving out to people who are working in the hospitals, but then they're getting sick from it." Oh, so don't get the Pfizer shot.
Well, have you guys seen the video with Bill Gates talking to? Was he giving it? I think it was
TED Talk.
No. It was in 2005. I just saw this about the vaccines, about how it changes the brain. Have you seen? Okay.
That's an old video. I remember that one. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Basically, you can probably agree with me on this, is John Boston, is that it just basically turns you from right to left.
Seriously?
Am I right?
Oh, I don't know.
Isn't that the basis of the video? If we're watching the same video,
yeah.
Was talking to, was it like CIA or
something like that? Yeah, that's one of those old YouTube videos from.
And it shows the brain scan
on
how you think, and the idea of giving the vaccine was to change your way of thinking. So the video basically shows that, okay, remember what he said in that video. How are we going to get this to people? We give them a flu or a sickness. I watched it this morning and I was kind of blown away.
Yeah.
So we give them the flu or some side, and then we formulate a vaccine, and it shows the brain scans of people that had the vaccine. And I know it was kind of a Christian thing that was involved. So it actually changes your way of thinking. Call it conspiracy theory, whatever, but I'll send you guys.
Came out of his mouth. He said it, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's right out there for you. A lot of times, the truth is right in front of your face.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would just like to.
Go ahead, Gonzo.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I just want to draw attention to our guest, the Ladder, who's made an appearance.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the Ladder.
Ladder's extra patriotic today.
News. Yeah. I also want to say hi to, I love this name, Roger Rabbit Hole. It's got some great comments here. He says, "Give me my pillow," when we were talking about my pillow. Yeah, I love it. And then he said, I like this too. Was he a Florida man by chance? Well, I'm in Florida, so we all know that term, Florida man.
Well, I wanted to touch on the vaccine real quick. Does anybody know what mRNA is? Does anyone know? It's messenger RNA. And what it does, basically what I've come to learn that it does. Once again, I'm not a doctor or a scientist, anything like that, but I've watched a scientist that I trust. And it's a synthetic encoding that goes into your system, and it tells your DNA how to respond. Your RNA and DNA how to respond. and it causes it to fire off in certain ways. So it's like a programming. They're re-encoding your RNA or your DNA in a sense. Now it doesn't sound like it's permanent, but
that's exactly what.
But we don't know. They don't know yet. You're muted, Tony.
Yeah, Tony's muted. Yeah,
that's exactly the video that I watched this morning with Bill Gates. That's exactly what we're talking about.
It's and it's new development, and there's also something in it called M neon green. And my source is Dr. Anthony J on YouTube. Y'all can look him up at Anthony J Cast or something like that on YouTube. But he talks about there's a substance in it called M neon green, and it's like he says it possibly could be a tracking identification fluid that they put into your body. Also something called syncytin. Syncytin 1 is something that it's a gamete or some sort, and it helps with the placenta development, and the vaccine interacts with that. So there's also concerns for infertility. And he also brought up a point of how the medical or how the lobbyists and all that pharmaceuticals like way at the top, way above and beyond everyone else for lobbyists funding and all that kind of crap. But brought up the topic of how old X-ray machines they knew was harmful to people, but yet they kept them in service. They kept using those old X-ray machines. So the point was, these things they know are harmful, they don't ban them.
Trust the science. Yeah. I'm wearing 2 masks.
Yeah, these people are there's no way they can be sued or held accountable either. So that's a little something to think about. So I'm not touching it. Couldn't make me touch it.
We'll call it 1984-ish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, more Gonzo news.
Yeah, I've got at least one more here. I just thought this was now this is funny, but unfortunately I believe it's also factual. But this is a summary, and somebody has put this in the Comic Sans font. The HR 127 bill highlights from the Democrats here. This is what they want to do to the Second Amendment here. So we want a database created by the Attorney General of all firearms registered, which will be available to the public. A mental evaluation that will include interviews of family members, spouses, and ex-spouses on whether you are mentally fit to own a firearm. Special license for military-style weapons. Requirement for firearm insurance with an $800 fee. Punishment for not having insurance will be a fine ranging from $50,000 to $100,000 and 10 to 20 years in prison. Ban of large capacity ammunition feeding devices, meaning magazines, belts, drums, or other devices capable of accepting more than 10 rounds of ammunition. And last but not least, a ban of .5 caliber or greater ammunition. And I also gather that they now also want to tie these rules in with the weight of the firearm. So now the weight of your firearm is also a factor. So, God have mercy on us all, should that pass.
Well, I saw that, and what the breakdown on that is what they do is they get doctors to tell everybody that they're incompetent.
Right.
It's basically what we're seeing now. It's the same exact thing. I mean, there's nothing different than what happened with the election, and they're really pushing that hard. I mean, everybody here, I believe, is, of course, Dutch. I'm sure you're a firearm owner, and you're in Florida, right?
I'm in Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Okay. Good. You got a busy day tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. It's not gonna stay away from driving. It's gonna be Yeah.
Yeah, I read the same thing today, Gonzo, and I looked into that. And, like any existing firearms, you would have to register. There would be like you said, there was a $400 fee. I'm trying to remember what it was for. Trying to think. I think it was to register your firearm, but everybody that owns a firearm would have to have a psychological evaluation. But basically what you do is you pay off doctors, and then they go with that whole mandatory buyback kind of thing, which is
this going to be a federal law? I mean, how would this pass?
Oh, they're going hard on it right now.
Also licensed to carry have ammunition, no?
Yeah. No, they want you to I don't know if it's licensed to buy ammunition, but I think it's like a background check and then whatever just to buy ammunition. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean they weren't lying. Like I remember I made a video with these clips, but I mean they were literally like, "We're coming for you." Joe Biden's like, "We're coming for you. You got guns. We're coming for you." So,
I mean, all the school shootings, that narrative kind of went south, didn't it? A while ago now. Was there any school shootings while Trump was in office? I don't believe so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, supposedly.
So that's a whole nother narrative.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that's like the most anti-gun thing I've seen in a while.
Well, that just shows you that the people who stole this election are really worried.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I've got a great comment here from Roger Rabbit Hole. I like big guns and I cannot lie. I'm going to give that comment of the night.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's singing that tune in their head. I like big guns. I cannot lie. Yeah. That's as good as it gets.
Well, you know what? I guess we'll make this the last one since we brought up this subject earlier. This is topical, but it seems that Texas has successfully defunded. Can you guess it? They defunded
Democrats?
Planned Parenthood.
Wow.
They defunded Planned Parenthood here in Texas. They're no longer funding Planned Parenthood, having successfully removed the abortion company from the state's list of eligible Medicaid providers.
The meat silly. Perfect.
Great timing. But yeah, that's basically I guess that's everything we got to know with that. But yeah, they have defunded Planned Parenthood, so I guess we'll see how it goes.
That was awesome, man. I loved Gonzo News.
That was good.
This is our new segment. And Gonzo prepares the news on Saturdays for us. So let's all give him a round of applause. Anthony, I see you're clapping to the air, and we got a fist. Good for you. So, but yeah, anybody have anything else for tonight? Because it is now officially, it's officially after dark. Yeah.
The witching hour.
Yeah, it is. It's midnight. So
we need some crazies, Tony.
We don't have any crazies hanging in?
There might be a few in there right now, but we don't know. So it's still a little early. And Anthony has a little sign. He's been quick with the signs tonight. Welcome to the OT. Yes, sir. So
yeah, well, if anybody, I'd like to invite anybody, if you have an how do I say this? An interesting disposition. Now's the time to join. So.
I wanted to show you this book real quick, Gonzo. That's off topic, but
Christ.
I figured the title would pique your interest.
Yeah, who's that by?
It don't really say. It's by Image Books. So it might be like a bunch of writings from different people, but it's a book from like 1957. By a meditative study by a very Reverend Alfred Graham. Elred Graham, OSB, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
So Elred Graham. So anyway, it's just I wanted to show that to you real quick.
Yeah, no, my interest is definitely piqued.
The Christ of Catholicism, yeah.
The Christ of Catholicism. Yeah, I'll have to look into that, and I've been meaning to get into the Church Fathers as well, just to read it, because I've just heard George talked about it recently, and Elliot Hulse, and
which one was it?
I don't know. It was just the writing of the Church Fathers. I'm not sure if there's a specific,
Okay, yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, maybe there. I guess I should read it, just to see what it's about.
So.
Yeah.
There he is.
He's returned.
I'm back, fellas. So I want to first of all, I want to thank Dutch, Mark for showing up tonight. I hope you'll come back. But we enjoyed your input, and I believe you said this was your first live stream.
Right? Yeah. Yes. First live stream.
Cool. And I want everybody to know that's watching too. I am going to put the link for your YouTube and for your book in the description of the video. So
appreciate that.
Go ahead and just go ahead and confirm with an email to me so I have the right links, and I'll put the Amazon link for your book and your YouTube channel in there. So,
appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of the book is, one more time?
Razor Blade Romance.
Razor Blade Romance. Okay, awesome. We got Anthony throwing the signs up tonight, which is awesome. And looks like Anthony's got a book up there. Yeah, because we know Anthony likes to read those books. So
Anthony's got a collection.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody who's in the chat here too tonight. We've got Peg Bell, she's new, and she was in here last week, and I think a couple others. We got We Are Borg, and we got a new one, Roger Rabbit Hole. I don't think I've ever seen him before, but I love his comments. Love the comments. I'm not sure. I'm going to say Roger is a dude for sure. I can tell by the comments, but we appreciate you. Of course, Earl's daughter. Let me go back. Peekaboo, always in here. Problem Man, he's in the chat. He's also in the live. So go back and take a look. Thank everybody for coming in. And I think we'll wrap up here, guys. But I'm going to start by letting everybody know you can find me, of course, on this channel. Like and share. Oh, we got Mr. Bullard in here. Okay, awesome. He jumped in here. He had a comment on Pat Stedman's show. Yeah, there he goes. Y'all are nailing it. We got to teach our sons and young men to be men. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. Awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Just so you know, Mr. Bullard, I believe, is a pastor and a father, and I think he used to be an educator. So that's awesome. Good for you. Peekaboo says, I second what Tony says about the visitors' input. It was very nice to have some new voices. I'll agree with you there for sure. Appreciate everybody coming in. It's real important. I think what YouTube is doing is really turning us around on a Saturday night now, which is awesome. We're getting a lot of new faces for sure. So, but you can find me, of course, on Instagram and Twitter at T21Surfer. You can also find me on Gab at Tony Bruno, T21Surfer. You can find me on Spotify, Google Podcast, Anchor, Apple Podcast, on Lifestyle Philosophies with Tony Bruno. I've got interviews with all sorts of people from Alan Roger Curry, Alpha Male Strategy, Steve the Dean Williams, Coach EO, Dr. Shawn Smith, Jesse Lee Peterson. They're all on there, so you can find me there. So appreciate it if you guys check it out. Gonzo, how can everybody find you?
Yeah, well, you can find me at Gab at Midnight Author, just all one word, and you can find me on Instagram at midnight.author, and you can find art and that sort of thing and all the creative stuff, and then you can find the videos at Gonzo School on YouTube.
Excellent.
So that should do it.
Man, how can everybody find you?
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate you. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find me on YouTube at Primal Man, just PRIMALMAN, Primal Man. And we do a Monday night man hour that we'll be having this Monday as well. You'll be sure to enjoy it.
Excellent. Dutch, how can everybody find you? We know you got a book, you got a YouTube channel. Give it out, brother.
Yeah, whether if I'm also on Instagram, you can look me up, Travel and Bang on Instagram, just like my YouTube channel, Travel and Bang, or you can old school. You can find me on Facebook under the name Marcuccio Shemwell. Probably just type out the name Shemwell, you find me, and any personal emails, markybravo@gmail.com, and as you said before, Razor Blade Romance, the book is on Amazon. I appreciate your time and thank you a lot.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that, man. I really am. I'm looking forward to reading that. I'm excited about that. So Anthony Velasquez, we know you don't want anybody to find you. So
well, it depends what they look like.
You do have a ladder behind you just so you can get away.
Or they can come in, yeah.
Could we possibly get a view of that ladder real quick? There it is. Yeah.
Oh.
Where does the ladder go?
To my neighbor's roof, maybe. Yeah, you can't contact me or do anything with me, but you can watch Tony Bruno, George Bruno, or you can look at Coach Greg Adams. Look at him on YouTube, and that's it. That's all you need. And you can watch. You know what? You can also watch President Biden on his YouTube channel if you want.
If you go on Biden's YouTube channel, there's 1 like and 50,000 dislikes.
Anthony was the only thumbs up.
yeah. But only because they were watching. That's why.
John Boston, how can everybody find you?
Well, I listened to the Tony Bruno live stream, and there was a little link that said, "Hit this to connect," and I did, and I ended up here. Presently, don't have a YouTube presence. Thinking about it, maybe at a later time. We'll see.
Okay.
Thank you,
guys. I appreciate everybody that came on tonight. We'll do this again for sure. Saturday night live stream. Get it off your chest. This is a show where you can come on the live stream. We did have a troll earlier. You guys know that, right? Yeah. Ooh. Our guy who was on, he was a troll. That's all right. Yeah, he hit us up hard at the end, but he held out long enough just to troll us. But
he was like sincere at first and then turned into a troll.
Well, I'm gonna give him a lot of credit for hanging in that long just to say something at the end, and then I did see his comments, but hey, that's what it's about.
Some dedication.
Yeah, there's a lot of dedication there. I'm going to give the guy a lot of credit. So we're going to wrap it up, guys, but cheers. Much love, honor, and respect. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Peace, man.
Cheers.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.